Okay, we're streaming. I think it might have been that video. I'll just run a. I'll just
Can
run
you
a.
hear us?
Yes, I'll just run a slideshow.
There you go.
There.
Slideshow.
Now we got a slideshow going. I hope I put all the naked pictures away. And no.
There you go. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you
Leave them
guys.
on for me, mate.
Yeah. No. Okay. Okay, I can hear you, and we're good to go. I got a slideshow running,
Oh, there you
and we're streaming.
go. And Brett, yeah, you can speak into your phone. It should pick up your voice if it's got a working microphone.
All right, fellers.
But you're gonna have to mute your microphone when you're not talking.
I'm gonna have to.
Okay, I guess I'll give this a shot.
It's working fine, Brett, but you're gonna
Okay,
when you're not talking, you're gonna have to mute your mic
I gotcha.
because we can hear ourselves.
Yeah, where's that feeding back into?
There you go. There you go.
We're gonna try this, folks.
Yeah, I can't stay up much longer, Greg.
Well,
I'm pretty
yeah.
tired.
Okay, I understand, man. I'm sorry it took me so long to get it together.
Oh, it's okay.
We
But
can, we
I'll
got.
stay up for another half hour.
Yeah, we got a free reign to do it anytime we want. Once I learn this stuff.
Well, now that you got the sound shit figured out, pardon my friend.
Well, I'm getting there. It seems like a new experience every time I crank it up.
Yeah.
You know.
Hearing Greg live is like hearing a celebrity. This is pretty cool.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. You deserve it.
That's how I felt about Andrew when I was talking to him. It's like as soon as he answered me with that voice, I'm like, wow, that's Andrew. That's the same guy I've been watching.
Yeah, Andrew's a genius. He's really on the ball. I've been watching his stuff with Judy Wood for a few years now, and uh, just basically everything he comes out with. I've either been looking at it before, or when I look at it, it fits in with what I think, and he's a great bloke. Um,
Yeah.
uh, and he's got some guts as well, to be honest. Uh,
Absolutely.
he don't pull his punches. He says what he means. Um,
Yep.
and and when he's talking about things like this 9/11 and trying to bust it wide open, which is a very difficult thing to do. I mean, there must be very important people with who would quite like to shut him up, really.
Yeah, and I don't, that I don't like that because and Richard, he's fearless too, and I worry about those guys. I don't want anything to happen to them.
Oh, totally not. Not certainly not. But like I say, he's just got courage. It's fantastic. We need people like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you just need to speak your mind and be non-mindful of uh, certain consequences.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be spewing hate or anything like that.
No, no, no.
But
It's the way they go after the authorities, man.
yeah, but yeah, we have to question authority. We have to be able to
Should be able to.
have the right to question authority,
We have to be able to stand up to it if we need
and
to.
that
Yeah,
but
but it's
when you stand up against authority, you must do it in a way that is peaceful, absolutely Gandhi-like.
Right. But I think Andrew was going through the thing there about everybody who won't talk about 9/11 or they won't. It's because they're probably afraid. They just rather not go there.
Well, no, the reason why they don't talk about 9/11 is because it's a conspiracy theory, and people who talk about conspiracy theories are what? Cray cray.
Well,
Tinfoil loonies.
so that whole thing was there's a phrase invented by the CIA. Once you learn that, then I mean, that's a given that you're going to be called that. It means nothing. In some camps, that means truth seeker.
Well, to the mainstream, it means cray cray.
Yeah, they'd rather us watch their drivel.
Yeah, the 4.6 billion-year-old solar system. Yeah.
Well, it's just like what Jim Mars used to say. He said, once you can prove it, it's no longer a conspiracy theory; it becomes a conspiracy fact.
Exactly, and I think when people tell the truth, it's very hard to argue against it. Uh, unless you've already developed a sophisticated smokescreen, which I think has been done in this 9/11 case massively. Um,
Yeah.
they've always got an excuse for why this happened or why that happened. None of them really fit the facts, as far as I can see it.
I mean, doing things like putting fluoride in our drinking water when it's a toxic poison. They dilute it to where it's acceptable, but if you put your hand in a bucket of fluoride, I'm told you'll die. They have to wear hazmat suits when they handle that shit. So what did the is that must be some kind of a byproduct from some kind of a process, and they've paid the governments off or however they've got it to be able to put it in our drinking water and tell us it's good for our teeth. Come on.
Yeah, but it's a antimicrobial, and it'll enough of it, and it'll just wipe all the stuff out of your guts, so and everything, all the microbes, the beneficial ones as well, and
Yeah.
plus
I've
it's
also
toxic.
heard. I've also heard that it uh, calcifies your pineal gland.
That
Yeah. I just drink
keeps
bottled
it,
water.
dumbs you down. Sorry, Greg.
I didn't mean to step on you. I'm sorry. Uh, I just drink bottled water. The only time I ever have tap water is my son's playing some game. Whenever I drink tap water, it's just with coffee or something.
Yeah, that's it. I'm the same. It's just coffee or beer for me. I don't drink the
What's going
water.
on in there?
Mind you, but when I go for a walk out, I'll drink out of a stream or a spring or something, a clean one. Quite sweet then. It's quite nice.
What's that now?
So,
Say that again.
I'll drink out of a stream or a spring if I go for a walk, but I don't tend to drink out of the tap water. It's um, it just tastes bitter, really, compared to the really beautiful stuff.
The natural water.
Well, I have city water here, but I've lived in places where you have to have a well, and well water. There's no taste like well. You have to really acquire a taste for well water.
Well, sometimes it tastes minerally, and well water tastes different from different wells. From well to well. It's just what's in the water table at that depth.
Right, right.
That's
I think though, I mean, they talk about this electrically conditioned water. The Pollack and is it Dr. Gerald Pollack who talks about this? That
yeah.
it can pick up ions, extra
Yes,
ions,
yes,
and
It separates charge, in fact, from the
that's
surface
right.
that it's touched.
yes. And the colder, the better, because when you super cool electricity, it turns it into a superconductor.
Yeah.
And apparently, all our bodily cells are full of this modified water, which has been modified by electricity. And this happens when it flows into these aquifers for hundreds of thousands of years and pops out of a spring. and when you drink that, it's filtered and clear, and it's got energy in it.
Well,
Um,
I've heard from Victor from watching some work of Victor Schauberg,
oh yeah,
a German physicist in the
fantastic. Yeah.
late 1800s, early 1900s, that falling water energizes water.
That's right. When it's sent through that vortex, apparently, there's
When
some
it
kind of
travels
electric.
when it travels along the Birkeland current, when you see slow motion video of water coming out of a tap, it spirals out.
Yeah, yeah, it does. And that's what Schauberger used all the time, wasn't it? And it made these
That's
really refreshing
that's
waters.
what his that's what his thing was about, was vortexes.
Yeah, that's right. And I don't know if you've come across this the Bosnian pyramid. What's he
Oh
called?
yeah.
Osgermanovich. He's saying that the water at the bottom of that pyramid is like 3,000 years old, and it's just absolutely life-giving stuff, you know.
Yeah, Sam Osmanovich.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and so well, he's saying that's just basically an absolutely wonderful environment in the bottom of that pyramid. What which I believe it is a pyramid, of course, but
Well,
a lot of people
he
don't.
says there's a lot of healing capability of just the energy fields that are produced by all the running water that's flowing underneath the pyramid.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. And so that is it's so fundamental in a human being as well, isn't it? It's when we're 98% water or something. I don't know what it is, 90% water. Um, it's and if I suppose if that's all energized and magnetized the right way, you're going to be healthy, think better, feel better,
Yeah.
operate
Welcome,
better.
Nigel. Welcome.
Welcome.
Yes, amazing stuff. Uh,
Well,
yeah, but
science is growing in leaps and bounds. We're starting. We're on the verge of starting to look at the unseen energies as Tesla described them. We're on that verge, and once we start seeing those energies and figuring out other ways to see more of those energies, we're just going to go like the human race and science and technology is going to advance like no tomorrow if powers that be let us do it.
oh, I think so. And there's so much nonsense being fired around, like all this black hole shit and the dark matter shite, and just for starters, and a complete, as Rupert Sheldrake said, a science based upon
I hear you, Joe.
a complete dogma, uh, and,
Well,
and and until we can get shut of these dogmas, like for example, nothing blew up and turned into the universe. Uh,
big what?
yeah, well, nothing exploded and turned into the universe.
Big,
And
big what?
well, yeah, the Big Bang, yeah, 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 and that
Yeah.
was a big banger, yeah, and but you see, that's right through
Well, you see,
the
now they're
universe.
trying to change their dark matter into dark energy.
Oh, that's
And
it.
well, what's a Birkeland current? Mostly all of the Birkeland currents that flow everywhere flow in what? Dark mode.
Yeah,
Plasma in dark mode.
yeah,
It's
that's
not
correct.
lit up. It's not in glow mode. It's not in arc mode. It's in dark mode.
Yeah, you
And
can't
that
see it.
is the dark energy slash dark matter that They've always been looking for this 95% of the missing matter of the galaxy that holds the galaxy together. That's all it's based on, folks.
That's right.
It's their need to have something that holds the galaxy together and doesn't fly apart, because we don't see what only 5% of the mass that gravity says the gravity model says needs to be there to hold all of this together. Well, with the electrical force added in, you just wiped the need for that 95% of matter out of the equation, and everything is just golden and works beautifully together with the electrical force added into their gravitational / mass model, and everything will work fine.
That's right. But just every channel on YouTube that I've seen follows all this Hawking radiation shit and all this getting sucked into black holes, and the biggest black hole in the universe has been, in the middle of the galaxy has been discovered, and there's black holes everywhere, popping up everywhere, and people, everyone apart from the electric universe seems to be on that bandwagon.
Yeah, I know. It's disgusting.
But if I were to mention that to my nieces and nephews, my brother would bollock me for talking, telling him shit. You know what I mean? People want, they don't want freedom.
Oh, it's because you don't have a. It's because you don't have a white lab coat and a PhD. That's.
Oh yeah, that's a lot to do with it. But
well, that's everything. Everything has to do with it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Tinks, can you mute your mic, please, when you're not talking?
Push to start, man.
Sorry, was that me?
No, it's Tinks rebroadcasting.
Crap.
Just mute your mic when you're not talking, bro.
Don't have a mic.
Are you on the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a mute button in Discord. Look for it, you'll find it.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Down on the lower left, there's a mic, a headphone. If you just hit it,
I think it's, there he goes. It's good. We're good. Thank you, Tanks. See, I use push to talk, so I'm safe. I can just let go of my mouse button and say something to my wife if she comes in, and you people won't hear.
You can find that in your settings, that little wheel, that little cog by your name.
Yeah, in voice and video. But some people are using this on their phone, Greg, so they have a slightly different setup than the. That's the great thing about Discord is you can have it on a bunch of different platforms. Take it with you, on your phone. Sit on your computer, have it on your computer. You can do it through your web browser even. It's a nice little pro. You can send videos in the general chat rooms and PDF files like books or pictures or whatever you need to post to get your point across. You can do that in Discord. It's a beautiful.
Yeah, I like Discord.
Oh, it's a great facility, and it's just so good to meet people there who, well, I've only met a couple of you, and it's just not so nice to see people who kind of think the same way.
Well, that's this electric view server that there's a lot of, Discord is basically a gaming platform, so gamers could come in and game with each other and blow each other up or shoot each other up or whatever, and troll each other and have fun, and have basically a place for them to meet. But there's a lot of I'm sure you'll find cooking servers in here and all kinds of like World of Tanks and World of Warships and political servers and all kinds of different servers in Discord, but
Right,
you have to search for them.
Can't find my damn papers.
wonderful.
Greg,
Plus,
you got a paper?
this Discord for the Electric View is all set up with Electric Universe content, so that anybody that came in here could go through each room individually and watch all the videos in each room and get a good understanding of what the Electric Universe theory is all about. And if they still don't understand, there's the general chat. They can just text a question in and get it answered.
Yeah, yeah. But I think the electric universe is just only part of it, really. It's like there are so many other areas that connect. Just like Greg was mentioning with the water and the conditioned water um, uh, uh, and I like I like the idea of uh, what Rupert Sheldrake goes on about with his the extended mind, that your mind isn't contained in your head.
Consciousness is energy. It's a form of energy. It's another one of the many, many forms of energy that make this universe move, do what it does, create electricity, create magnetic fields, create this, create matter, in fact, because I think that matter is just energy in a structured format.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's
I agree
it's
with that.
energy and vibrations so that it becomes solid, a solid thing that you can touch. And humans and everything that's alive is just matter, basically is just matter that can reproduce itself. Wow, what a concept. And why wouldn't the consciousness think up of something to do, of something like that to do? If it could create matter, why not create matter that can recreate itself? Wow.
Yeah. Well, there's the idea that the consciousness is also evolving, and it might have started off when the universe started off as a very basic idea,
And then it learned everything that it could, and then it created matter to
became
learn
more.
more, and then it created living matter to learn even more.
That's it. It became aware, and uh, well, that's it. It's all alive. It is all alive. Every bit of it.
I maintain that we're microcosms of the macrocosm.
Yeah,
We are alive, and the universe is alive.
that's right. That's right. And well, it's just so refreshing for me to speak to other people who actually understand that the planets and all the rest of it have a conscious, some kind of form of
Well, you
conscious.
see, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that they are conscious themselves, when in fact we're just connected to the consciousness. Yes, we can think separately from it, but because we can think separately from it doesn't mean that we're not connected to one another, and every living thing and every piece of matter in the universe. We just don't know it because of all of this physical and sound and visual and textual input that we receive, constantly bombarding us from the time we wake up, from the time that we go to sleep. We have this input overloading us, keeping us disconnected from that basic connection that we all share. Like, how does your dog know that you're coming home, even if you go eat a dinner after work and don't come home at the same time? How does your dog know? If you're really connected to your animal, your dog will know when you're coming home and will be sitting at the door waiting for you to come home.
Oh yeah, Rupert Sheldrake's proved that mathematically in experimentation. Hunters use it when they're hunting. Um, I don't hunt anything, but I love to see wildlife, and I kind of know it's there before I see it. So in that respect, I can hunt it, and some of the stuff I see, well, you wouldn't really believe it. Uh, just and it's because I don't know. I can kind of somewhere feel it sometimes, you know. Um, it's like um, I went I went camping for a night in just a few miles away from me in the hills above Lancashire, and there was a lion there. How's that? Now, of course, no one believes me, um, but you know, like the lions on the England shirt. Well, it was like that except black, and it was about 30 yards away. Um, and I tried to get the phone out. I was with somebody else who saw it as well. Tried to get the phone out, but couldn't get a photo of it. But it's just like some of the, I don't know, I just seem to bump into these things well. Uh, you're not meant to have lions in Britain, of course. But this, I think it was a black leopard, in fact. It looked more like a leopard than a lion. Um, but I don't know.
Well, it could have been a mountain cat.
Well, it was a massive.
Like a cougar.
Yeah, but I live in England.
Yeah.
You're not meant to have them there. Uh, but it was a black one anyway, quite enormous, and it wasn't squat like a jaguar. It was tall. It was the size of a Great Dane dog, you know, and that's what I thought it was at first, because
Yeah,
it was
that's about the size of a cougar or a mountain.
right. Well, it was some type of lion, and it was attacking a badger, um, and well, it was stood over this badger, and the badger was backed up, and this lion was right over it, and a car was coming down the hill and across the bridge over the River Ribble, and when the car went past, there was no badger and no lion left, you know, and of course I didn't go chasing after it. I had my dog with me. My dog didn't see it because he's getting old now. I dragged him away out of a wall while I was trying to get a photo of it.
Buried Axe Blade says a puma.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, but it was the shape of it. It was the shape of this. It was distinctively skinny. I don't know if you've ever seen the. Um,
You sure
reminded
it
me.
wasn't? You sure it wasn't a black alley cat?
It was a bloody big one. I mean,
I'm
it'd been
joking.
eating some
I'm
big
joking.
rats.
I'm joking.
Yeah, it'd have been eating some big rats if it had. But I mean, but I used to be able to do that. I'd walk in the woods and I'd kind of know that there were deer in if I looked over the next valley, and I'd sneak over and looked over it, and I could feel it looking at me, you know, and I didn't know where it was. And then, for 2 minutes, I'd spot it, 100 yards away, hidden in the hawthorns up there. You know, I'd see a big stag there, and you know, it's there were This not only the consciousness. I mean, all right, that must travel in some kind of waveform, I suppose. I mean, some people say it's faster than light, that waveform. Um, is it electricity? I don't know. What can you pick? What are you picking up? What is it that you're picking up? Apparently, the native Red Indians, I don't know how way if I'm saying that the right way. They had these fantastic skills, and they used them in the. They said it was in the hair. It's that they actually let them grow the hair long, didn't they? In the army, you know, the
Yeah.
scouts they used them as.
Well, it's, like it could be a cat that got away from somehow, somewhere. Yeah, who knows? But North America's not supposed to have Sasquatch, but stranger things have.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I just was just in response to what Buried Axe Blade says. England has no puma. Yeah, I know that.
Oh yeah, and I know that, and that's why I was kind of shocked to see it.
Exactly. That's the point.
But when tell Axe Blade anyway that England
He's
England
listening.
yeah, well we've got lions, you know. Oh, sorry, Axe Blade. It's we it is our national emblem, you know. And although we haven't got any, it's not the one with the big mane.
I know, right? That the lion that you're talking, that pair of lions, plasma dish. The two that Kronos
sorry.
always talks about,
I'm losing you. Can you repeat that, Shockwave?
The lion that is in the British crest, the two lions, the twin lions,
Yeah.
the twins, the two. Kronos always talks about the two columns, the two brothers, the two lions, the two griffins, the two dragons, the two. It's a reoccurring theme in ancient history.
Electricity and magnetism.
Plasma discharge, man. Plasma discharge.
There's always like Jesus and Mary. It's electricity. One represents electricity. One represents magnetism. I'm talking about the archetype.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah,
but I think
so.
I think it had more to do with the two circles around Squatterman evolving and growing into many different shapes and forms, and some of them, as we know, electricity can take the form of looking like a man, or looking like an animal, or looking like things that we see in nature. So yeah, that's where we get all of these weird creatures from, like dragons and griffins and things like that. Those were electrical discharges that were seen in the heavens, and that's why they're called mythological animals, because they were seen in the heavens by ancient people that wrote it down, and we call them myth now. But they're actually found on the ground here, like the unicorn. No, this was stuff that was seen in the heavens, in space, between the planets.
But they're electrical artifacts, and as you were saying earlier, it's all charge based artifacts, and do all the life forms take on the most?
Well, there's a carved column in Sumeria, or in the Middle East somewhere, that shows the same pattern as the kings wear on their head. the curved horn shape, and at the bottom of this column of curved horn shapes is the man bag that all of these gods carry around. So that tells me that this electrical squatter man event took many different forms and changed over time to look like elk or deer with horns, with really curved horns, and then it turned into a bag, and the feet dropped off of the discharge. These electrical discharges changed in multiple different ways, and we wrote it down and carved it into stone, and we look at it and go, what the hell were these people doing? If you don't know the electric universe, you say that. But if you know the electric universe, you go, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's why they call it the Queen of the Sciences, because everything that we believe trickles down from everything that came from cosmology, the archetypes. So if you're thinking as the Higgs boson, you're not going to understand any of that stuff.
Oh, no chance. And I think also people they explain, they have a rationale that they can only explain things in terms of what they see about them, what they think is real, and so I guess it's like seeing faces in the clouds, or maybe there are
Exactly, it's
faces
the
in the
same thing.
clouds.
It's the same.
Yeah, mate, I think so. I think so. And yeah, uh, yeah. However, yeah, there's a manic thing going on as well, though. I think, I don't know. Uh, there's a shamanic thing going on that these people having an awareness of life that it kind of transcends uh, the soaps, and the kind of transcends it. Um, Seeing things in different terms, I guess. Hard to put down. Anyway, I've got millions of theories, and historically and all the rest of it, and I'm going to have to share them with somebody at the end of the day. I'm
There you
afraid
go.
it's you tonight, Shockwave.
Well, just hang out more on the Discord and talk on the Discord. Let your thoughts out.
Yeah, I think I will, because there's just so many fascinating things right on our doorsteps that people just don't see or understand. It's frustrating, but well, I should speak to people who have I think the same way as and that's great. So I'll be back on this I'll be back on this Discord, and it's great, absolutely brilliant. And Greg, I love that music that you play as well.
Oh yeah,
You don't have to. Oh yeah. Is that all your stuff, my friend?
I'm
Is that
sorry.
your music?
What's that?
Is that your music? Have you produced that music?
Some of it I do, yeah. Like on the Star video, the last song, "Shotgun Society," I wrote that song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some
Oh well,
some of the
that
stuff I just
I
find,
loved it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I remember when I wrote that song, I was so frustrated. Everything just seemed so effed up and upside down. I just kind of got lucky that it just fell together.
I think that's the beauty of it. It's
Yeah.
simplicity. And that's brilliant.
Yeah, you
Loved
got
it.
to ask yourself, how the hell did Beethoven wake up in the middle of a
Oh, I know.
sleep and write his write a whole goddamn symphony.
Yeah, I wrote that
Where
one
did it come
song
from?
for 4 minutes, and it was hard enough.
It came from the consciousness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The ether.
Downloaded it off the consciousness. Art and music is just a download of consciousness from the consciousness that we all share. Some people can organize that consciousness a lot better than others and are tuned to certain things on the consciousness, and when it works, wow.
It's
Oh, of
magic.
course. They reckon he was stone deaf when he wrote that Fifth Symphony. You know.
Yes, it was. He heard it in his head. You know, a lot of times, a lot of my riffs will come to me when I'm falling asleep. I'll hear this something spark me onto a riff, and if I don't get it up and either record a couple bars of it or write it down, I'll forget. I don't know how many
Yeah.
songs I've lost.
Well,
Yeah.
you're not Mick Jagger, and that didn't drive you to, every time that happened, jump out of bed, write it down,
Right.
or
A few times it
record
did.
it in some. Yeah,
Right, right. Yeah, because that's what they live for, right?
exactly. That's their gig, man. That's what they want to do. That's what drives them. You didn't have that drive, so you just said, well, you know what?
I
I'll just
did
let that
have
go.
the drive, but there comes a point when you go and you record your music and you get it spiffy, and then you go, now what? Because that's the hard part is getting people to hear it, you know. And
Yeah,
you can send it to a million producers, but there's no guarantee. You know,
exactly.
you got to be lucky or you got to know somebody. A lot of nepotism in music.
Yeah, you don't want to go into the music field anyway, bro.
Oh, I know, I know, I know.
You'd be asked to do shit that you just don't.
No, I'm way too old now. But when I was in my 20s and 30s, you know, there was, I would get side railed with women, like relationships. They would distract me. You know, that was you can't. Those guys that want to make it, they don't have anything. They're not looking at anything but making it. And then once you do, there's
Yeah,
no guarantee you're going to stay there. And then because sometimes there's so many people that have made it big and thought it was going to always be like that from now on, and then the money stopped and they're washing dishes now.
yeah,
Well, I think as well. I mean, if many of these artists are manufacturing the music, not letting it kind of flow, and it must be very bloody hard work when they get a sort of writer's block in musical terms, and um, when it just comes to you, and it happens to me sometimes. I mean, um, I'm not as good a musician as you, Greg, but
No,
it happens to me. If I'm doing some very heavy physical work or something, or running or whatever, when I used to, I'd get a tune coming into my head, and
oh
uh,
yeah,
and then it'd just take shape in my mind, and then every time I started running or doing whatever it was, that tune would come back. Uh,
see,
so
with you, it's running or stressing your body out. With Greg, it's, as he's going to sleep. Other people, it's during sleep.
yeah,
I mean, it, we're all tuned. Our genetics, I maintain that our genetics are magical, and we all have this slight connection. Some people feel better than others. Not, like I feel great wise, but feel. I mean, can feel other people's, can empathize better with other people. Other people can see things or think that, something might happen in the future, and it happens. We all have these little special little tricks that we have, that we use, that we don't even know that we're doing it, and that's the sad part.
Yeah, I think everyone has these gifts, and they've been basically
Not
forgotten.
not everyone has all of the gifts. Some of them only have a little small part of one gift, or there's a lot of different gifts that I'm talking about here, like ESP, like leaving your body, and there's a lot of different aspects to this consciousness that are out there. Just like the same way there's a lot of different energies, this consciousness, there's a lot of different aspects to it.
Edusa,
Yeah,
have you
there
ever
are.
been to my music site on SoundCloud?
Yeah,
Okay, that's cool. So you know it's there.
yeah. You've there's about 5 or 6 songs on there, isn't there, Greg?
Oh, it's
Are there more than that?
no, there's about 60, but I've got some sound files that I read. You just got to go down below them to get to the other songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't got it on this computer, but I'll get this. I'll get back on SoundCloud, Greg, because I do like your music, my friend.
Oh, thank
And
you. Yeah, I got a few playlists too. One's called Wounded Soul. That's all you got to do is remember is Jay Hunter, because I go by my last name, and
yeah, yeah.
that was I've been doing that for years, and just put Jay Hunter / Wounded Soul, and it should come right up even on Google.
Right, yeah. I shall do that.
Yeah.
And when I get up in a couple of hours, it's stopped raining here. It's been raining for about 4 days now.
Oh man, it's colder than hell here in Michigan.
Oh, rain's better than snow, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, it's it got flooded out about a week ago, but it's
You
not
guys
cold.
got you guys got nailed with the tropical storm, didn't you?
Yeah, we get the back ends of your tornadoes. Well, no, the hurricanes. They seem to turn around, head north, and then come back to us. So we had Kiara Mella,
Typhoon if
Kiara.
you're in Japan or China.
For
Yeah,
anyone,
and we get storm. Yeah.
for anyone that's listening, if you'd like to join us in Discord, go into my community, and it's posted on top. Just click the link, and then click the general tab, and you'll be in.
And then look for the when you connect into Discord on the left, you want to look for the general chat uh, tab or bar with the speaker icon, and you'll see a bunch of people in here talking away. Well, just me and
Yeah,
Edusis
yeah,
and
I was
Greg at the
having
moment.
fun listening.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
But the rest of them are listening intently.
That's cool. Do we got some listeners out there? I haven't looked. I've been too busy trying to make sure everything stays good.
well, yeah, everything seems okay.
Great.
But I mean, I'd certainly welcome any input if anyone wants it as well. I know it's great.
Yeah.
Well, you've got some good ideas, Edusa. You're on the right track.
I certainly am, and um, and it's like you're saying the consciousness thing. I mean, I get feelings of what happened. Well, like history really that's been lost or changed, and I'm the more I dig at what my hunches are, they seem to a lot of them seem to turn out right.
Well,
And it's
water holds genetic memory, and genes are, you know, surrounded by water. So yeah, every person that has lived before us, their the water in their bodies contains genetic memory of events that have happened in the past. And that's and truthfully, I think a lot of people that are sensitive to that aspect think that they were someone else in the past because of that genetic memory that we all are capable of going back and looking at. You understand what I mean? Like a lot of people think that they might be, in the ancient past, a servant or this or that, or some famous person in the ancient past. Well, you carry some of that water that person or someone in the ancient times carried that witnessed some of this stuff. Of course, it's gonna resonate with you.
Yeah, I think it's a possibility. Yeah, uh, yeah, it's it's kind of mad, really. I'm gonna have to write some of all this down because I mean it's the same as it's almost the same as remote viewing. Um, without even trying to do it, you get these flashes and flashes. Some of well, why is that? Just little vision popped up in my head. Um, why has that happened now? And it's like you with that you've got to scribble it down fast, or you will forget about it, and you don't know if that's just a random kind of harebrained thought you've just had, or if it's something that is communicating with you. You can't you can't swear on it. You can't swear that. All right.
Yeah, you just ask yourself, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, if it doesn't fit in with the rest of what you're thinking, and I don't know, you just get an idea, and then I don't know, and then kind of research that idea, and oh wow, there could be a bit of truth in this. And it's I've got that on a couple of levels now, and about history around this.
Love to get a
Oh,
girl in. Come on in.
I noticed I was the only girl in here.
Yeah, we need one.
Well, I mean, it's that way in science, and it's that way in manufacturing, and it's that way in the general world. So you feel at home. Don't be shy. Just step right.
Don't worry. Once I start, I have no problem starting or talking or anything. So that's what,
I'm
yeah.
just saying. I'm just saying in the field of science, there aren't as many gals in the field. Well, maybe now it's changed quite a bit, but when I was young, it was mostly men and very.
I don't. I think maybe it's changed a little bit, not too much, because I really all this stuff is interesting to me, and I don't have anybody to talk to about it. So
Neither do I.
I have all these ideas,
Well,
things.
well, sound off, man. Sound off. Say something. What's on your mind?
Well, oh, okay. I can hear myself. I'm getting an echo. So is what's happening there?
I
Oh,
can hear you.
you're
Oh, fine.
listening to yourself on YouTube. I think you have to turn your
Yeah,
YouTube.
I'm on YouTube. Okay. There. I think that's better.
Yeah.
That's clear. That's
Well,
Stpauligirl.
all you were getting on YouTube was us talking
Yeah, and I
with a
was hearing.
delay
Yeah, because you're
and the
right.
slideshow.
I
So
left it on.
you're
Yeah.
you're here.
I mean, yeah, I left it on. I shut it off. So that's cool. I feel like I don't know. I decided to come in. I mean, I've been watching uh, Greg's videos and about the Purple Dawn, and I found that quite interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
Very interesting, and I totally agree with the Electric Universe. There's no other way. It has to be that way.
That's right.
And but there's other things that I don't agree with as far as planets, and I don't. The number one thing with astronomy, period, is I don't care if you have a telescope the size of the Earth. There's no way you're going to see a light year. You're not even going to be able to see a million miles away. Okay, not possible. It's not possible. You guys think about it. Something. Oh, you're looking at. Oh, let's look at the. You know, some galaxy or some. Whatever. Something out in space, and you're looking at it. Oh, well, that's 5 light years away. No, 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 not possible. Think about it, you guys. It's not possible to see something that far away. It is impossible. I mean, nobody. And this is like, well, you can do math and come up with equations, and no, it's just not possible. That's like common, it's just common sense. I mean, I used to love to, get my telescopes, and I have like, I got like two or three, and and it just, I don't know, I just something just happened. I don't know where the information came from really, because it just like it hit me like, why? How is it possible? I can see this far away. It's not possible. I mean, when you think about a trillion, like how can we, like how can our country be in debt to a point? I don't even know how much it is now, like trillions and trillions of dollars.
Well,
How
they say
is that?
20 or 22 trillion or something like that, but it's actually a little
Okay,
higher than
but
that.
you understand the amount of what a trillion is, that you could spend, what is it, like $100 an hour for the next 65,000 years before it's all gone. That's how much.
Yeah.
Is it possible that we what costs that much money?
Interest,
I don't-
interest to the Fed for paying them for making our money for us.
yeah, but you guys, you're not being logical. That is,
I'm afraid.
it's
I'm
impossible.
afraid. I'm
It's
afraid
impossible.
if I owed someone a trillion quid, I'd probably have to bump them off.
I mean, the people that that's all. It's got to be like it. I mean, if you think about it, if just $1 trillion, um, if you wanted to print out $1 trillion, um, how long do you think it would take if you got everybody in our country, every single person, and you gave them a little money printing machine, and you go here, start printing. You'd have to be printing nonstop, 24/7, for I forget how many thousands of. I mean, it's like thousands of years for one per. And we're talking about however many people are in our country. I mean, it's like people. You know, I'm just what I'm trying to get down to in my thing is like, which is what's real and what isn't real. I mean, the numbers, yeah, they can tell us anything. And I try to add up these things, and I don't know. Do you guys remember? It was like a long time ago when what's his name, the when somebody that was the Secretary of State or whoever he was, and there was like a thing on the news, and he came on and said, "Oh, we have a $1 trillion deficit, or three trillion or whatever it was," and it was like and I'm like, what did he just say? And it was kind of like he just came out and just said, hey, we owe a lot of money, and then I'm like, why do we owe a lot of money? I mean,
Who do we owe it to?
The Fed,
I
The
mean,
they
bankers.
charge it to us as interest for
but
printing our money.
right, okay, for printing money. What kind of okay.
It's a Ponzi scheme that is gonna it's gonna explode eventually, and no,
Oh,
I mean,
I hope I'm not gonna be around the day that.
yeah, and inflation and all that, but I mean, when it comes down to it, they could tell us anything. But I'm just trying to figure out why. Of course, we don't have any jobs anymore, and we don't produce anything like we used to. We used to make things and
Yep.
export them, and people used to buy things from us.
Yep.
But now we're the ones buying everything from everybody, right? Pretty much.
Yep. Clinton gave all our jobs to Mexico.
Yeah.
And China.
And our
well,
food,
all
and our
those went
food.
as
I mean,
well.
But this is politics, and it is getting late for me too. It's 1:22 here where I am, so I have to.
oh, it's only 10:20. Well, I don't really want to talk politics. What I wanted to do is just tell somebody my idea,
Go ahead.
this thought that I had, that it won't take very long, but um, this has got to do with the Bible, and I was
No.
raised in church and stuff, so I'm a Christian,
Mhm.
and this has got to do with what I think, because of the way that, I mean, I don't know if you guys, uh, I'm sure that you've heard about everything that I, you probably know too, but Um, um, I'm just trying to figure out where we are in a timeline, and because because I think, and without going to a backstory, I'm just going to come out and say it. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, then you can say, "Well, I don't know what you're talking about." But if you're familiar with the Bible and everything, this is like where the flood came, and that was the big destruction with water, and then we're told in the Bible that the next one will be with fire, and and it's clear that on this planet things have melted. Things have been charred and melted all over everywhere, and not from volcanoes, not I mean, we're talking something something cataclysmic has happened since the flood. That's what I'm saying.
From the
And
thunderbolts of the gods, my dear.
well, yeah, well, probably a plasma event, yeah, probably, but at any rate, that would that's gonna scorch. That's gonna just kill everything, burn everything, and that. What I'm trying to get at is everybody's waiting for revelations. They're waiting for a second coming and everything. And this is what I think. I think that that already happened. I think there was a
Me
time
too.
period. There was a time period, and about well, when God would come and He would live, come to Earth and reign on Earth for 1,000 years, and then He's going to give Satan the keys and say, "Well, we're out of here. Here you go, Satan. Do whatever you want. For you've got a short time. You can have at it." And at some point, I don't know. I think maybe 1700s, 1800, um, or maybe even earlier than that, but not that much further than that. Um, Something happened, and there was like there's hardly any people anymore, and everything was melted and charred. And I think that we, all of us alive right now, are actually survivor. We're the our ancestors, which isn't that long ago. We're talking maybe our great grandpa or something. They were the ones that got left behind. They got left behind, but they lived through it. They lived through the apocalypse, and God gave Satan the keys. And is this place not hell? Is everything upside down and backwards?
No doubt.
It's like the minute he got the keys, he went at it, and he just made sure everything was just complete confusion, turning everything upside down. Everything. I mean, and it's only gotten worse and worse and worse. And that's my this is my idea. I
I
think
think
that it
people have
happened,
done that myself.
and
I,
that maybe could be the great deception, and we are, we're it. I mean, we come from
Well,
it.
I'm
Our
just,
ancestors
I just like
didn't
to
make it.
interrupt for a second and say that I think hell is a human conception, and we've created that hell ourselves, or we can create that hell ourselves with our own mind and our own thinking and the way we think. We have to, as a as a race, change that and just go into love. Just change from hatred and bigotry and all of that crap and just turn to love, caring, and compassion for our fellow man. And none of that would matter. And you know,
I agree.
it's all a moot point at that point. And
I agree. I
that's
totally
how
agree.
that's how I try and live my life. I try and let people be themselves, and I try and have a really thick skin and not uh, let things affect me. And if something does affect me, I try not to let it affect me for very long. I try and get over it real quickly.
I totally agree with you. I mean, that's the right attitude to have. And yes, we do manifest, we do this, and we all have our each, basically everybody has their own reality, really. But what I'm talking about is, yeah, that's the right attitude to have. But what I'm talking about is, um, I'm trying to, because I was raised Assembly of God, and we went to church every time there was church. I mean, I was in church more than I was at home, seems like. And they were holy rollers. They, you know, speaking in tongues and all this other stuff. Which, by the way, that's a whole other thing for me. I don't think speaking in tongues is something that people should do. I think that that's not a good thing. But anyway, um, but I mean, I was raised with the fear of God, quote unquote, put into me. But I had so many questions that I was always poo pooed. Like, well, you don't you don't question, don't you don't question God. And but I have so many. There's just too many things that don't add up, don't seem right to me. And
Well,
but
too many people have the view of God as this old dude sitting on a chair. That's not the
no,
case.
I agree.
God is the universe. God is all aspects of all things in this universe. God is good. God is evil. God is everything. God is all of it, all rolled up into one ball that we call the universe. Period. That's, I mean, the concept of heaven and hell that is made up by humans. It's a story that's that tries to convince you to live a certain way through fear that you will not go on to bigger and better things after you leave this realm. Well, I have a different thought of that. I think that we are connected to the consciousness. Once we pass away, we disconnect, just like the same way a ham radio breaks and can't be used anymore and gets thrown in the garbage. We're just like the Klingon philosophy. Well, it's just an empty shell.
I think
We are part of the consciousness. We all of our experiences get uploaded and we download from the consciousness. We are part of it. We're not individual. And that's what I think.
quantum theory says everything is a field. Consciousness is a field. Electricity comes in fields. Magnetism comes in fields, and and um, and what we can see is what we feel is a perturbation in that field.
Well, you know that the way quantum mechanics is expressed in visual form is resonance patterns.
Yeah,
That's not particles. That's fields
exactly,
and waves and
exactly,
movements of energy. That's not matter. They have it all
exactly.
wrong. They think it's all little particles of matter.
For me, I just I don't rely on, or I used to be very, very, I just love to learn all about science and physics. I love that stuff. And just seemed, it just seems to me that they keep coming up with, I mean, they have a theory, like one of Einstein's theories, whatever. Okay, people try to prove it or
No, they
disprove it, or
do. NASA does do good science. We just have to figure out what they're trying to tell us with the data. We have to look at their data and make our own conclusions, and that's what they're doing in the electric universe.
yeah.
We don't we don't know in the electric universe how large this universe is, but we know it's massive. We understand that these distances are huge between galaxies. I mean, NASA's mapped a lot of this stuff, and that's how we know that the universe looks like our brains because they've mapped it all.
Yeah.
Wonder if If
We have to. We have
are
to.
we are we
We
uh,
should
are
just
we
go
inside
real slow
some
and just talk like
some
whatever we
huge
want to talk.
gigantic beings?
Yeah.
Are
That's
we
what
like
I've
a
thought
cell?
too.
You know.
That's what I've thought
Yeah, I
too.
said
But I
that with
mean,
my son.
regardless
You don't know.
of that,
Yeah.
the thing is, we have
We're
to
streaming.
understand their data.
All you
We
gotta
have
do
to
is get
know
in
what's real
now.
and what's not real in their
Discord.
data. What's based on their theories, and what's based on observations that we see. We have to know the difference, and there is a difference, and you have to know that.
What if, and this, I mean, these are just ifs, because these are things, the way I don't know. It just seems to me that, I mean,
You're a skeptic, and I understand
no,
that. And
I'm not a
I'm a
skeptic.
skeptical too. I'm very
I'm not a
skeptical
skeptic. I'm
too
just,
of.
I'm seeing, I'm not taking everything for face value like I used to, you
That's
know.
the definition of a skeptic.
I mean, I know, but I mean a
But what
skeptic, but I'm
it's
beyond
not bad
that.
to be skeptical. It's not bad to be skeptical. I always say question everything. Never believe in anything 100%, but you have to believe in something.
And that's because we live, this is what I call this reality that we live in. This is the, the dimension of belief, because everything is something you either believe or you don't believe. And
Well,
I
when
mean,
a white
when it
coat
comes
tells
down
me
to it,
try and tells me something, I'm going to try and figure it out for myself. If I can't figure it out for
and
myself, I'll listen to other people that know better than me and make my own decision after that.
and what if the information that the people that are, I don't know, other people that you want to get your information from, that have done studies, or they've done, you know whatever, and they've written these papers, and they, whatever, um, they've come out with this information, and what if they're basing, all of their things that they do, and the information that they got, they're basing it on something that this, I mean, I'm not saying this is what I think, but I'm, because of the way that everything is in this place, I mean, there's the, I mean,
Yeah, I understand. I understand what they're basing their
there's
stuff on theories,
yeah, but
right?
there's our reality. And I used to, I mean, for a long time, I became almost an atheist, because I just, none of this, God, it was just ridiculous how the thought of there's some guy,
Well,
Yeah,
that,
I was an atheist most of my life.
and
And then once I found the electric universe and I understood the electrical force and I understood consciousness through Rupert Sheldrake, I went, whoa,
yeah,
that's God. Creation, the
it was just a,
creation event is God working on the Birkeland currents on the Z pinches, creating galaxies, and then creating suns and gas giants inside those galaxies, and rocky bodies that coalesce into solar systems that create life. That's the creation event in a nutshell. Boom. I figured out God. Now I believe in God.
and you believe in but not, you believe in a an energy that created
I
all that.
believe in, and I don't call it God, I call it the all.
And
Because it's
uh,
all things, all aspects of all things.
that's what I ended up
It's
doing too. I
everything.
ended up, because I was raised to be a Christian, and being saved and everything. And then I went through a period of time where, because I was thinking about stuff, and it made no sense to me, because according to what I was taught, God, or God Almighty, or whatever, this person that we're supposed to be made in the image of,
The all.
you know, uh, he knows everything. He knows, he knows everything before it happens. He knows everything that happened in the past, present, future. He knows everything. He is the architect of all of this.
Yeah, you're
And
describing Rupert Sheldrake's consciousness.
but what I'm trying to get at is, it doesn't make any sense to me that we're here. None. Why? What is the point if God knows, if the whatever the consciousness or whatever that created us? I mean, I don't know. We don't know for
See,
by ourselves.
I don't think the all knew everything or knows everything. I think the all created living matter so that it could experience more and learn more.
Devolve.
I mean,
No, I mean, how learn what? How, like, just from us alone, how many billions and trillions of people?
learn our experiences.
I mean,
Everyone's experience is different, unique.
yeah,
That's a learning experience for him, for it.
but
Sorry.
why would he have to learn all that if he already knows everything?
Well, he doesn't know everything. That's what I just said.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, this is what I'm trying to understand. This is just for me. This is like, I understand. I kind of gave up on this thought because it's kind of
It's a
depressing in a way.
paradox. It's
But
a paradox.
no, it's not. It's okay. If you believe in a soul, we have an energy that definitely, when we're alive and when we die, something happens and that energy leaves us. Okay, that's the energy, that's our spark or whatever, right?
That's the connection to the consciousness that everybody confuses with our soul that goes to God at the end. Well, no, we're just connected.
Yeah, I mean, our bodies are, we're just robots. We are.
No,
I mean,
I liken us to a ham radio.
We run on liquid electricity, and we get we get started up, we get a spark, and there you go, your heart would spark you up. We're robots. We're so
the minute any animal dies, it feeds millions of other animals. The life just merely seems to jump from one form to another, and that energy that is life, it seems to be passed around everything, every living creature. It's just kind of shared through indiscriminately. When when someone dies, I feel they're just they can no longer respond to these fields. They don't feel the force in these fields anymore. But
even though that they're still there, they're still in that field, but they just can't feel it anymore because they're broken.
You become a part of the field if you're.
They're a broken ham radio that doesn't work anymore.
No, I think
your body is what feels everything for you. If you didn't have a body, you're not going to feel anything. That's what our bodies are for.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, okay,
well, listen, I gotta go, folks. It's 1:45 here now. I'm burnt out. I drove to Brockville and back from Toronto, so that's a 800-mile trip almost, or a kilometer.
I can't blame you, Shockwave. It's 6:45. It's getting light here where I am, but I'm enjoying myself, and it's Sunday tomorrow, so I can always lie in bed tomorrow. So happy days. But have a good night, you pal.
Wake up around 1 o'clock and have a tea in the afternoon. I mean.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta go, folks. Good night, everybody. And Greg, do this more often. There seems to be a bunch of people that popped in just.
Bye, Rick. Good night.
Good night, Crypto and me. What, Greg?
I'm here.
I'm still here. It's same time as you, 6:45 in the morning.
So what are you up to tomorrow,
It's
Crypto?
11:45 for me, so I'm in California. It's early.
Oh, it's 1:45 here. I'll leave and I'll wrap it up about 2:15. 2:15.
I was wondering, with Greg, because those are, you use. That's where I'm at now with as far as our world.
Were you asking me a question?
Paulie lost you there.
Oh, did I? Oh, maybe I moved too far away from my microphone. Maybe I don't know.
I couldn't hear your question.
I can, and I can barely hear you. Is it just me that's having a problem with your volume? I mean,
I don't know. I don't like to be overbearing, so I don't want to turn my stuff up loud, but I'll turn up.
You sound like you're real kind of far away. Um,
I don't know why. I was fine before.
you know what? For a second there, your voice came in a lot louder. So you got closer to
Yeah,
your
well,
microphone
yeah,
source
because I'm
or something.
watching OBS here, but hold on a second. Let me see if am I coming out of OBS? It seems like I am. I see my level. All right,
A little bit louder
let
then.
me turn up my volume in the settings. Hold on.
No,
It's
is it
got
just
better
me?
now, Greg, to be honest. I think it's got better recently, Greg. I think you
Is it?
must have gone closer to your mic.
It's better. Yeah, yeah, I am. Yeah, yeah,
I don't know how I don't know what my
yeah. I'm
Yeah,
getting
I'm
a
getting
good
good
volume,
volume,
75%.
75%.
So
that I got from the 98-cent store in 1995.
It works just fine.
I mean, and I have a piece of um, paper towel. I folded it and I covered it and I put tape around it. To cover because the spongy thing. That came with the microphone that you put over the mic. That deteriorated. Be fine. They have to control everything. So the information that we're getting, it's information they're giving us.
exactly.
Whatever. So if you base your if you base your research or whatever answers you're trying to get
On flawed
on
models.
something that comes from information you don't know. I mean, sure, they've got it down to where you can like ask questions and you can go real far deep into the research and get answers, but at some point in time you're going to hit that block where you just have there's more questions. There would be nothing that could challenge it. You see what I'm saying? There's no challenging the absolute truth, but that there is some a way that people challenge it, and they have they have their own proof or whatever, and they come up with their own things, and a lot of it makes a lot of sense. I'm not saying that I believe it or I know, but that's the point. I don't know, and but the idea of the fact that there's a challenge to that, anything that can be challenged, you if it was an absolute yes, believe it and bet your life on it thing, everybody there's no challenging it. Like nobody challenged it. That's a dog, and it's a dog, and you can't be challenged because it's a dog. But that's what I'm talking about. Things that can be challenged and can't be challenged. When it comes to I mean that's a really huge thing because that's got everything to do with God or your spirit, your spiritual thing. And are we living in a time? I'm just trying to figure out how many. It's like I don't know, like 500 years or something later or something, and everybody is stupid because the because smart people like in our time, the smart people are the ones that they have they make money. They want to have their self all settled down. They want to have enough money. Then they start having children, and sometimes by the time that they're ready to have kids, their bodies are kind of they're getting older. So usually the smart people will have one or two kids versus the stupid people that your average Joe that starts having kids when she's like 16. She can just crank out the like you know the the less educated people seem to be the people that have more kids, and so that's how it goes. And so as time goes by, there's less and less smart people having children. There's less and less smart people. So he wakes up in this world where everybody's stupid, and it's a funny movie. But anyway, and it really makes a lot of sense. It's kind of scary when you think about it. But I'm saying all that just to say this that um, I don't know. I've been uh, there's some things about people that are transgender, and that's like the latest thing where celebrities, they actually this is a man, but actually this is a woman. They were a woman, and then they have all these different channels on YouTube of people that are trying to show you, this is not a woman. This is a man's body. A man has long arms. A man has this and that, whatever. And there was I just uh, these are like I watched a couple of videos or whatever, and I made a comment. You know, you can't take a stereotype and say a man has this length of arm and or hands, whatever. I have really big hands for a lady, for a woman. I have very large hands, but I get that from my grandpa. But and you know, it kind of offends me when all these people are trying to show people this, this isn't really a girl, this is really a man, a transgender or something. And it offends me because you're stereotyping people. But you don't it, a man has an Adam's apple, a lady doesn't. No matter what you do, that's how that is. And if you want to be transgendered and you're a guy, you want to become a woman, you can shave your Adam's apple maybe once or twice, but it's cartilage. So when you shave it, you can't remove it because it's you won't be able to swallow or eat. I mean, a man has to have that. That's part of his anatomy. And women are, we don't have that. And you can't like a plastic surgery, a fake bump on your throat, that would, you can't do that to a woman because then she wouldn't be able to swallow. And so that's all you need to know. If you wonder if somebody is transgendered, you're like watching a movie and you're just, want to know, is that person really, is that really a guy? Just, they're going to have an Adam's apple. Maybe they
Count
shaved
the
it,
ribs.
but no,
Count the ribs as well.
there's nothing else you need to look at. You just look at their throat. That's it. Just look at, they have a little bump. Everybody has, like, men, some men have real big ones and some men have real small ones. And I made this comment because the lady that made this video, she was just talking about all these different, how long your arms are, the size of your jaw or something, whatever. And I'm like, you don't have to, don't even, what do you worry about that stuff for? You got an Adam's apple, you're a man. If you don't, you're a woman. You can't, there's no way they can, you can't alter that. If you shave your Adam's apple, it will grow back and it will be bigger than it was before you shaved it.
No microphone, Homestead, and a lot.
He's
Well-
talking to that guy.
Well, I know there's not too many people out there that embrace Saturn theory that I've had on, except for Ted. That's the only one I really, and Ramon.
Well, it
And-
blends in with the electric universe. Like,
Absolutely, perfectly.
it just bam, it just slides right in there. You can't.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
why they
almost
decided to do them
undeniable.
together.
I mean, and you were like, I think you were the first person that I ever found that talked in that, the way that I thought about it. And
I
and
couldn't find
just,
a forum to interact, so I made my own.
yeah, yep. And I know at one point you made a video and you said that your son, you said something about your son had asked you,
Yes.
to make videos or whatever it was. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought that was really cool that your son was liked it so much. Make some more videos, Dad. And I love it when you read
Thank you.
when you read, like you read Velikovsky stuff.
Yeah.
And I just
Yeah, I really appreciate that because I'm not a big fan of reading books, or I find it tiring. But it's just so nice, Greg, for you reading that stuff out. Thank you so much.
I mean,
wow, you're welcome.
you have a
You're
really
welcome. It's my
you have a really good
For me.
yeah, it's excellent because the way that you read your your rhythm, I don't know, I just seem to understand. Yeah, I'm not a big on reading either.
Well, now I feel like a total jerk for saying time limit, but I was just thinking maybe somebody else wanted to get in, that's all.
I was wanting to say thanks for interviewing Andrew Johnson, and sort of
Okay.
brag and say, oh, I met him like in 2011 because he was at a research convention in Bath.
You know,
And,
so many
yeah,
people
nice
know
guy.
him. He's
Some of these,
just got that gift.
I look at some of these people and they're like, I don't know, I don't want to say it like this or mean it like this, but they're like heroes to me.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I don't know, I look at them more like celebrity than I would like I would be more excited to meet one of these people than I would like Brad Pitt or somebody like that. I don't care about those people.
Right.
It's like um, and what? Oh, I think the guy that you were, yeah, about the Purple Dawn, and I think I
I love the
think about
purple.
fractals. Does
What?
he do? Does he talk about fractals? Fractals, is
Mm,
this
I don't
the guy?
recall talking about fractals. It's hard to say.
How did you? I mean, you just decided to email him and ask him, "Hey, will you come and talk on my?"
Well, I have a subscriber. Her name is Lisa, and she writes a column in a newspaper where she lives. And she emailed me, and she's just kind of one of those people that just wants to have a personal kind of ability to reach out, and she did, and I responded, and apparently she must have did the same thing with Andrew, because when she was writing to me one time, she said, I know Andrew Johnson, and she sent him a copy of the book by Judy Wood. She likes Judy Wood a lot, and wants her to get some exposure. And when she mentioned Andrew Johnson, I mean, I've been watching him since 2014. Talk about Mars and the things that a lot of people are afraid to tackle, and that's why I liked him, because he's opinionated, but I always seemed to be on the same side he was. So I thought, well, we have a lot in common, and I said, hey, do you think you could see if Andrew would be interested in coming on? And she said, yeah. So the next thing I know, I got an email that said Andrew Johnson. He goes, hey, how you doing? Lisa told me you might want to talk. I said, yeah, sure. So we talked for 2 hours and just got along really well.
Awesome.
It's like
I
we
mean,
knew each other for 10 years.
like to me, that's like going to the source. It's like
Yes.
you know, I mean, you can get it straight from them, because I know, like when you listen to interviews, that they are so much more that they could be saying, but they don't say certain things because they don't have time, or maybe they keep it out
Yes.
because they don't want to offend people or cause a stink or something. And I know there's information in their heads that if you were talking to them one on one, they would just tell you,
Yeah.
but they don't, because they don't want to cause a problem with anybody. And that's the stuff that like when I listen to you, there's every once in a while there's a little tidbit that kind of, I'm like, ooh, there's a
Yeah, I like doing that. I like giving out tidbits. I really do.
that's what I live for. And
When I pick things up, I keep notes.
I wish that you could have, I don't know, more interviews. Um, and
Oh, they'll be coming, I'm sure. I'm just getting started.
you're a great host.
Oh,
You really
thank you,
are.
thank you. My ultimate goal is to interview Walt Thornhill.
No,
Yeah,
Wall's
well,
pretty open to having interviews, isn't he? He's been on quite so many podcasts and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
and
sure he'd
I asked
do it.
him, and he said that he was booked for 2 months to come back and ask him again in December. But I got busy and I forgot, and now I'm gonna go ask him again for sure.
you know what?
Cool.
Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt to ask. That's right.
But
But I'm glad I
what's that?
got Andrew, because he thinks outside of the box. And I like, to me, that's just nothing but pure fun talking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, and it always amazes me that there's so many different ways. Once you decide, to break your, to open yourself and just like let your head, you know,
Yeah, just let go and use your imagination.
discover other things. It's amazing how many ways there is to think out of the box. You know what I
Oh,
mean? There's
absolutely.
just it
Yes,
never ends. It's just never ending.
that's right.
There's more channels like yours, because I anymore. I just like, it seems like, I don't know. YouTube is, it's kind of yucky.
Well,
And
it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger because more people are coming to it. This is just the beginning.
think
Hope so.
Oh, yeah.
well, the way they censor everything. Um,
Well, yeah, now you see They don't. They don't like. You know how the song is "Video Killed the Radio Star."
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
think YouTube killed the everything star. The TV star for sure. People would rather
Yeah.
watch themselves than some overpaid actor.
Yeah. This is true, and um, uh, I discovered YouTube. I mean, I had heard the word YouTube before people say, but I never cared about checking it out. Never, it didn't interest me in the least. And when I discovered it, all of a sudden I was just there. What is going on here? And I had no idea that there was this place, And at that time, it was a lot. I'm going to say, it wasn't so. I don't know. People could say, it's more open what you could say. I mean, now they have what I think is AI. They have that just, you say one certain word and that's it, or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, it's not free speech.
Everybody
So
has that YouTube epiphany at one time or another.
really, um, yeah, I don't know. I guess I was late to the party, but YouTube hasn't been around all that long.
Well, since the late '90s.
Really?
Oh
Since
yeah.
the late
Oh yeah.
90s?
Oh
Really?
yeah.
YouTube was a.
I think it came out in '99.
Oh, what?
I wish I would have been the guy who thought of it. He's a multi-billionaire
Yeah.
now.
God. Um. uh, Oh, I just that I'm kind of shocked. I just didn't know it's been around that long. Wow.
Yeah.
Uh,
I,
yeah,
I
uh,
think
but
it was
they.
founded in
People-
2005.
What's that?
I think it was founded in 2005, according to
Oh.
Wikipedia.
Oh, is that right? I thought it was like
Yeah.
2001, 2002.
I don't think it's
Okay.
quite that old. They didn't really have the technology to stream video on
Ah,
computers
okay.
back then. I remember back in 2000, the best thing you could just about stream like a South Park quality or something. You couldn't really watch a live TV show on a
Yeah,
computer very easily
I
back
wasn't
then. But yeah,
meaning so much with the podcast. I was meaning mostly with like watching old programs and stuff like that. The YouTube star didn't bud until PewDiePie, right?
I think music, in the 2000s, that's when music was people were getting music off the internet. Maybe,
Oh yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
I know I get on YouTube. It's just to listen to, like I have music that I have like in CDs, but I'll get on YouTube and just, it's easier than getting my CD out and, putting it in the thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. um, uh, I don't know, but it's interesting for me because I I don't know. I didn't think that I was the only person that thought the way I did, but I have tried to have discussions or just bring up things, and where the people that I know, they're just nobody. It's just no. They are no. If you just bring up anything like like the electric universe. Okay,
yeah.
when I found you know the first thing I saw about the electric universe was it was on YouTube, but it was like a thing that just showed up in my list. It was like you might like this kind of thing, and it was when he was talking. What's his name? When he was talking about the special movie that he made about the symbols of it. Symbols of an alien.
Sky. Yeah.
That was like, I was just, oh
Oh
my
yeah, it
gosh.
blew me away.
And I thought, had I, there's no way I would have ever. I'm sure I would never have heard about this on regular television.
No, you would not have.
And maybe I mean because I'm not a big reader. Um, I wouldn't have found a book to read of his. I would never even have known about this.
I know. My whole teenager, 20s, 30s, 40s, I never heard of Immanuel Velikovsky. I didn't hear about him until I discovered the Electric Universe.
And he made, and this guy made this huge stink. He was like,
yeah.
He was breaking the thing, and that's when they went, oh, poo poo on you,
That's
you're
right.
out of here.
That's right.
And and I never heard about him, but that's like groundbreaking stuff that they
Mm-hmm.
don't let us know about. That's what I mean. They control the information.
Yep.
I think so many people found out about Tesla when the internet happened.
Oh, no
You know,
doubt.
it's like ridiculous that you don't teach about him in school. It's just
I
so
agree.
weird, and that makes you wonder. Like, hang on, why am I only just finding out about this now?
Isn't
Right.
it? I know.
They're not teaching. They don't teach. I mean, people just that they don't know common. That's what I'm talking about earlier. It's common knowledge. Um, some things. Well, when I was going to school, there was common knowledge. It isn't anything that you learn in school. It's just what your parents would tell you or something like like well that like what's that big thing in your throat, Dad? That's an Adam's apple. That's what I was trying to. The point I was trying to make is doesn't anybody were because the people this comments I was reading this comments that this lady was talking about transgender stuff and nobody nobody knows about it, but that was my whole point. It wasn't about being a transgender thing. I don't care about that stuff, but it's are you not aware that this is part of the human body? That's my whole point. My whole point was like
Yeah.
people don't are you that you don't even notice what's the people around you, that a man looks like this and a woman looks like that. I mean, that's what was my whole point. It was kind of not shocking, but it kind of went, well, almost doesn't surprise me that people don't. I don't. It just scares me.
Just worth to talk about something that I like is like A Secret Life of Plants movie. You can watch that on the internet. But it's just such an obscure movie. Like most people have never heard of it.
I've seen that.
You can't. It's hard to get. But like thanks
I've
to
seen that. I've seen that. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. Um,
yeah, it's just it's nice.
Yeah.
I guess what's happening these days. But there's so much stuff on the internet. I don't know how people are supposed to find anything. I'm just glad I've come across this stuff.
Yeah,
and
me
you
too.
wonder how it happens, how you just come across it. It's like,
How do certain groups of people come across just the same stuff? I mean, I could probably guarantee you that I don't know how many members. I'm 9,018 on here, and I bet I've looked at exactly the same stuff as read the same books or seen the same YouTubes or follow the same channels as 90% of these people on here. And I don't know. It's just like when you catch on at the thread, then you carry on following it, I guess, and we all wind up getting nearer the same place. I hope.
Yeah.
We seem to. You seem to get an idea of where the truth is. I don't know, or which direction.
That's true.
yeah, that's true. Um, but I mean, I know that the universe. I know it's all electric. I know this. This is like it. Like in no, I don't. It's not a belief. It's for me. I know it. Um,
Yes.
and maybe I don't know if that's I'm being closed-minded about it, but I mean, once I learned about it and when I heard about it from
Makes
watching that
sense.
movie, I mean, I couldn't get enough. I could not get enough of learning about it, and
Yes, me neither.
every lead I just everything I could find, at all of the talks that because they have on their electric universe, they have like their little videos that they do of like the news, whatever, and they have like their speakers or whatever, and I'll pay to listen to that stuff. I will, that to me is I can't get enough of that stuff, and but it's kind of
if you're on the
frustrating.
Patreon, you get your name on the end of the Thunderbolts videos as a producer.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think that's
gotta start
totally worth
doing
it.
that.
That's
a hell of
worth
a
paying
good
for.
idea. I mean, I gotta start putting I have 6 Patreons, so I should start. Man, I got a few PayPalers.
If
It's not
if you
many,
don't,
but you know what? I should start doing that because they've never really.
Yeah, you
voiced
should
it.
do a Patreon.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
yeah, and people, because what I've seen, people are more than happy to pay people. I mean,
Everybody, they're so like uncaring about themselves getting any attention. I always say, "I'll put you on the video." It's like you don't have to. Well, okay, well, all right. But I mean, they're just very humble, and I like that. That's that that's classy.
yeah, I mean that that Patreon thing or whatever. I mean, you can't if if you're trying to monetize your channel.
Yeah,
Um,
because you got to be careful. Sometimes people just don't like attention, you know. That in that way, I wouldn't want to make them mad.
but I think I think it's the coolest thing because if all you have is $1 to
Oh
spare,
yeah, oh yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, but there's could be 100 people that gave you $1. That's pretty good.
yeah.
You
But
know what I
see,
mean?
everybody thinks that everybody else is giving, and it turns out that nobody is, except for just a precious few.
Well, the subject matter too. You have to think. I did not know that you had to have 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm going to tell you, I was keeping a toll. I was I kept. Every time I saw somebody give money, I took that and I just, I was adding it up.
Oh,
After about an hour, he made over $100,000 in an hour and a half, and I stopped counting and I stopped watching his stream.
that makes me
He,
sick.
he was on there for like 3 hours. You know how much money he made? And after that, I think he
I
went,
don't even
whoa.
want to hear about it.
I mean, he's had like several live streams since then. And because I think it was like a shock to him that he could make that much money. Because
If you're a fan of David Wilcox, I'll spare you, but I am not a fan of his because I see right through him.
I am not either. I am not either. But I like to watch these. I like to keep up. I like to see what they're talking about. What they're doing because he's really an excellent talker. He's
Is he the guy? He does Gaia.com, does he, Greg?
Well, yeah, they got let go. He brought in Corey, and they came up with that whole secret space program, and he got memory progress and all that crazy stuff, and
yeah.
Jay busted him making it up. So Jay retired.
Really?
Yeah, Jay retired, and then Corey left, and supposedly, allegedly, Wilcock resigned, but I don't know the truth there. So
I kind of wonder what happened there.
yeah, and then they're just off making boodles of money with another crowd because the crowd that got burned, nobody knows about them except for them.
Always new suckers around. There's
That's
a
right.
sucker born every minute.
And I don't operate that way. It just makes me sick.
I mean, because when it comes down to it, you get people that are gullible, and if you talk right,
That's right.
and like and he is enjoyable. David Wilcock he's enjoyable to listen to. I enjoy. He's got a real rapport, but um, what he's talking about is like, it, it's it. I can't. I mean, yeah, okay. Corey gets taken away in a bubble or something. They come in. The bird people come into.
Right.
I mean, it's not to say that it couldn't happen, but no, it can't. It just can't happen. It's just ridiculous. I mean, maybe it's real. Wouldn't that be ironic? But
Yeah.
but I did not know that they got busted. This is new to me.
Yes, they did. Yep. If you want to do a YouTube search Jay Widener talks about Corey Good, and he lets it all. He does about 5 videos with this girl named, I think her name is something like Groovy Train or something, and they hash it out for it's in a list, and he tells them everything bad that they did, and it's bad. You gotta. I think I put it in one of my playlists on my.
Really?
Yeah. I have. I don't know if you ever noticed, but I have a plethora of playlists.
Yeah, you do. I've noticed that. Yeah, you do. But I've been following your channel for I don't know, for a long time.
Wow. Okay, that's
Long,
good.
long time.
Yeah?
I don't leave comments
That's
because.
okay. That's okay.
But I mean, I usually make, when I watch something, I'm interested enough to watch it. I usually make a comment, um, and my comments seem to always get a reply. I mean, everybody likes my comments, and but I with you, I'm just absorbing information.
Oh well, thank you. That's
Do you know what I mean? I mean, I should. That's really, it's my bad. I should just tell you how much I appreciate you, which I don't. That's
Oh no,
really my
that's
bad.
okay. That's okay. You know, I mean, I hear that, and it's nice, but you know, I mean, I don't need it. You know,
I mean, yeah, but I mean, there's no I when I don't know. I just hear this information and I don't have a question. Um, maybe I'm not. You know, I guess I don't know why I don't have. Usually, there's something that I question when I'm listening to something, and I'll kind of comment about it in a nice way. And if the person, the guy that made the video, if they want to, reply to me and get, kind of like help me with an explanation, that's nice. But I'm never nasty. And I usually always have like something's like that kind of contradicts something. I'm not really quite.
hey, you know, nobody can be right 100% of the time. I do my best.
But I don't know. I'll just.
The one thing about getting a lot of compliments, and I love it. It's beautiful, and it keeps me going. But someone who doesn't really know me very well will come in. They'll look at the comments and they'll see a few congratulatory comments, and they'll be like, "Ooh, aren't you Mr. Hoity-toity doing these
Really?
videos for everyone's praise?" Yeah,
Oh
they
my
get cross with me.
People are such haters.
Well,
Oh my
yes, they
God.
tend to be haters. Yes.
Okay,
But
a person that.
sincere people that are good don't even think about hating. It's the ones that are jealous that,
Yeah,
and they
and
really, I
they've
mean,
never gotten a compliment themselves. They don't know what it feels like to be complimented. Do
you
you know
know,
what
I
I
don't know
mean?
what it is. I've never been jealous. I've never been the jealous type. You know.
I think Jay, you've got a very unique format. Well, I've started listening to you maybe I don't know, a year ago, only that. But what I really liked is when you were reading the Velikovsky and you've got that little computer program
Yeah,
which corrects your pronunciation. So I found it hilarious, and that
yeah.
just did it for me.
That's why I left
And
it in.
then brilliant. And then a good bit of music on that, and yeah, that's it. You've got me there, pal. Yeah.
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah. I'm just saying, and the music on top of that, and that
Yeah.
makes it a great product for me, my friend.
Oh, you know what? That means that when someone compliments my music, it's really close to my heart. You know, because I mean that's what I started with, and it wasn't
That's
going
that.
anywhere, and I just wanted.
That's your music.
Well, a
The,
lot of it is. A lot of it isn't. It just depends. You know, anything that you hear from me will come from my SoundCloud website. That's all my personal original music on SoundCloud there.
that you composed yourself.
Yes,
Oh
actually
my
I composed my first symphony. It's called Greg's Symphony Number One, and it's pretty tight.
Really?
I like it. Oh yeah.
Do you have it like up so people can hear it?
Sure. Yeah, I have it on my SoundCloud page. I'll give you the link for it if you want me to.
Oh, it's a symphony. Good lord. I
Yeah,
play the cello.
it's
And
MIDI. You know, I didn't play the instruments myself. It's MIDI, but I wrote the instruments.
um,
With a
okay,
pencil.
that's you got to be smart no matter
A
what. You have to,
virtual pencil.
a virtual.
But it sounds pretty doggone good to me.
Listen to it because I did not know that. I never.
Yeah, I'm getting you the link, and I'll put it in Discord.
Cool, very cool. That would be. I wish it wasn't so late for you guys because it's. I mean, it's not 7:30, and I'm starting winding down, but I'm over here in California, and it just seems like everybody over somewhere else, and it's always the next day or 5 hours later that everybody's gonna go to bed or whatever. But
I know.
um, this 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 Discord thing, um, if I mean, can I come back into this?
Oh,
this,
sure.
this
Yeah, it'll always be here. We're gonna be right here in the general chat. Yeah.
so this is your Discord
Well,
chat?
Richard made it. He
Oh,
taught me.
okay.
Okay, I just posted in general chat the video. It's right there. All you got to do is hit play. when you're ready to hear it.
I might put that on with my breakfast in half an hour, my friend.
Oh,
Do you have classical training or any you know?
no, I'm a complete hack. I just, for rock and roll, all you need is three chords and a grudge, right? But I actually bought a program where I have what's called MIDI. It's musical interface. What is it? Music interface digital instrument. And you just write it with a pencil, and then if I want to put a horn section there or a string section there, I do it, and then I'll
Have
find.
you have you ever heard of this software? And I mean, it used to be free long ago, but it's still available. You got to pay for it. It doesn't cost that much, but if you enjoy composing and you enjoy MIDI, uh, I mean, it's software. It's called Hyperscore, and
Really?
it's
Oh, what's it
it's called
about?
it's called Hyperscore, and it is you would. I mean, it's made to help to teach people, how to kids mainly, you know, it's just incredible the interface of it. You don't you use like I can't, this is gonna sound weird.
I'll
You use
search it.
like globs and you stretch them out and you put them on it's like you have the strings that you make anyway. There's colors, there's different colors, and every color has its own sound. And you could, but I mean, you put all these globs and blobs and things together,
Ah,
and
yes, yes, yes. I know what you're talking
and
about.
you
Yes,
can
it's
come
for
up, I
sale
mean,
on Steam. You're right. It's cogs. You'll have like a violin cog and drum cogs, and
yeah, and you can
yeah, they
change
all
it and the
turn.
colors.
Yes, yes.
And yes, and I mean, I would just for fun, I would just randomly I would pick up blobs and colors, and I would just put them randomly. I wasn't trying to make anything consistent,
And it came
and
out
no
good.
matter what, it's just the coolest. It's the coolest thing, and
I
I
know.
I discovered that like in 1998 or something,
Yeah,
and
I
it was
may
free
just
at the
have to
time.
pick that up. Yeah, for some
And they
background
have
music.
a I because I had the program on my my 586 computer, and I thought, I wonder if the Hyperscore is still available because maybe they've updated it or something,
It
and I
is.
couldn't find it. Then I did find it, and sure, they have it. They still have it. They still sell it, and it's an upgraded version so that it runs. I mean, I couldn't buy it. I remember at the time I couldn't buy it or anything, but I thought, well, in the back of my mind, I really want that program because it was the funnest thing, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, little
I'm
kids,
always
the
searching for new background, music landscapes.
Hyperscore, and it's just the coolest little.
I will check it out again on Steam. Yes.
It makes me happy that I told somebody about that because I used to I used to try to tell people, you should try this program Hyperscore. Well, now it's like it's really fun. No, whatever.
That sounds cool. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have a look at that.
yeah, yeah.
I found something recently called Groove Pizza, and it's just like you put a rhythm around a kind of circle. They have
Oh,
a thing
really?
called like chord pizza as well, where
Huh.
you build up a chord. It's all in circles,
I'm gonna
like
have to check
pizza.
that out.
Interesting.
Mm.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. So I never thought about. I'm sure there's all kinds of software people have come up with for people to compose music that don't know anything about music.
Right,
Um,
exactly. Yeah, it's cool. They're making it a lot more user friendly. That's for sure.
Hey Greg, while you're here, I'm just gonna post up in the general link. I hope you don't mind. I made a page about your YouTube channel on a site called Everpedia.
Oh, okay, man. Thank you. I appreciate all the help I can get. I'm trying to press to 10 grand, and it's been a slog. I'm getting nerfed. I'm being nerfed by YouTube or something. I don't know what it is, man.
Wishing you
everybody.
luck. I guess you're not on Twitter or anything like that.
Yeah, I
But
am on Twitter. Yes,
Oh right.
I got to start putting my Twitter information in the description. I always forget.
I have a question, you guys, about all these. There's the different formats for you know social media. I mean, how much? I mean, I don't even do Facebook. I mean, I belong to Facebook
I
just
don't
so I can.
blame you. I just
But I mean,
found out that those bastards sell our information for millions of dollars.
It's true.
This I have no doubt. I
Yeah,
have no
that's
doubt.
why we get all them robot phone calls.
Yeah, my phone lately, my phone
No
has
doubt.
been. I get. I'm like, what? Who's calling me? And these are numbers. No, I do not know that person. And my phone, that's 800 numbers and weird things. And I get text messages on my phone, um, about it's
Yeah,
I never get, it's all garbage. I mean,
yeah.
it's an overload for me. And I think maybe being on Twitter, the more I guess the more you register in these social media sites. But Twitter, what's okay? Twitter is what is Twitter? Is it like a just like an
It's
open
like,
chat?
well, it's kind of like a place where you can go there to vent, you can put dates that you might have for whatever. It might be a video, a wedding, or you know, all kinds of different things. But
Okay,
you
there's
can't put
Twitter.
any more than I think 146 letters or something in one tweet.
Okay, so you're so they keep it
Severely
short,
limited. Yes.
and that's the hashtag, right? Hashtag thing going on.
I don't
Um,
know, but
what's
yeah,
the
it's brief.
and isn't there another one with pictures that you just it's where people post pictures and the
Yes,
pictures?
Interesting.
I think it's
Interesting.
hilarious that President Trump has taken to Twitter to vent his frustrations. I think it's funny.
Crazy. I'm like, and I still, in my heart, I don't really think that he's doing that. I think that, do you think he's actually taking his phone out, at
Well,
3 o'clock in the
no,
morning?
he's decided he's going to take it straight to the people, and he's using Twitter as his avenue. Now, I don't know what he's doing, but I know that they failed in their impeachment proceedings, and he's pissing a lot of them elites off. And if he's doing then that makes me happy.
Yeah, same here. I like
That's,
Trump because of
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I want him to drain that swamp and do it here as well if we can. And
You
and
guys ever,
and
have you ever heard of a reverse speech?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, okay, okay. David Oates. I've been following him for a long time,
Yes, it
and
reveals your
the reverse
subconscious.
speech is so awesome. And he's been doing this thing with Trump. I did. You know what? I didn't mean to interrupt you. I am so
No,
sorry.
no. I was just answering you. Keep going. That's
I mean,
interesting.
I'm interrupting everybody. I'm
No, you're
just
not.
being
No,
a
no, no.
stupid.
No.
Stupid girl.
No. You're being pithy and on point. So you were just kind of rambling there a little bit, honey. I had to put a stop to it, but
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
you're
I don't
doing.
mind.
You're
But
doing. I ramble all the time. You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep it up. Now, what was it, Trump?
I have too many things I think about and nobody to talk to about them.
I
And
know.
I guess
I know just how you
finding
feel.
someone here, you're kind of going, what do I talk about first?
What were you
But
saying?
no,
Don't lose your train of thought. That was good. What were you going to say?
your speech,
Yes.
David Oates, he has, he's been following Trump
Is
ever
it coming
since.
out good?
Oh, it's like it's the craziest thing. What I mean, if you want to know if he's
I know.
sincere, if he's a sincere person, he saved all his, he recorded all of the speeches that he gave, when he was, running, during
Right.
the election,
Right.
and he is the only candidate that in his reverse speech used America, said the word America, and his reverse speech, it's congruent. You know what that means?
Yes.
That what he's saying with his mouth
Yes.
in reverse speech, it's not contradict. It doesn't contradict what he's saying. It's actually, you know when it's congruent. He really means what he was saying
Right.
during
That's
like
good.
he loves America. America now. America is
That's
great.
right. That's right.
And all of his speeches, his reverse speech would just be like, America, you can be good again. Let's be Americans.
Yeah.
I mean, just America, and all the other reverse speeches that he did of the other candidates. The word America never came up in any of their reverse speeches.
I think
Which is
it's just abysmal how the left treats him. I mean, you didn't see the right treating Obama like that. They might have been grumbling, but they weren't saying the things that the left says about Trump at all.
Okay. The other thing I was going to talk about this is because when he got into office, it was all good. He got, he went through his oath thing, and that was all good. And he was still, he still had his ideals, and he what he told everybody he wanted to do, he really meant it. He really meant, and in his, he was determined. This is what he really wants America to be wonderful again. And
Yeah.
something somewhere in time, and David Oates, he goes, well, you guys, somebody got a hold of him, and they told him whatever he learned, whatever they told him, his bubble has been burst, and he played the reverse speech of some other interviews that he had or whatever, and he's like, help me. This is what he's saying, like, whatever they're talking about, you hear, help me. um, uh, he doesn't know what to do, and
Yeah.
something happened, and
Yeah.
somebody got a hold of him and said, whatever, knock it off, or it's not going to happen, or whatever. And I happened, and it changed him. And that time, he's never, his reverse speeches never, they don't have America in there. There's nothing positive. He doesn't.
Now,
He
who's
doesn't
this
say
now?
that. This is Trump,
Oh.
since elected. About 2 months after he was elected, his reverse speech, every time he give a speech or something, David Oates would record everything, and he would reverse it, and everything was, you know, Trump was, he really meant, he really wanted to do what he said he was going to do, and then something happened after he, got into the office, and somebody got a hold of him, whatever, something happened, and it changed his, you know, he something happened and burst his bubble, and it's negative. His reverse speeches are, you can hear him. He'll say, "Help me."
Yeah. Yeah.
I it's lost. We're lost.
Yeah,
This is what you're
maybe
hearing.
Somebody tried to read him the riot act.
Somebody said whatever, and that's kind of scary
Yeah.
if you think about that. That whoever could do that to him, enough to where he was like, and he really feels kind of lost now, and his reverse speeches aren't really getting any better.
You can see it in his face.
Oh, definitely. And
I think,
the poor guy.
I think he's under a massive amount of stress.
Oh, absolutely.
You can,
People are out.
but the work he does, his work rate is phenomenal. He's on there all the time. Every day he does an hour's speech, original stuff. He's throwing all these messages in that can only read or only interpreted on the keyboards. So there's a load of code going in there that's that he's either confirming or adding information to what's already on those keyboards, and it's all in his mind. It's all in his brain. He's a genius, that man. He really is.
Yeah, he is. I totally agree. Yeah, he is. And maybe he did come out of left field, but I because I was thinking, well, no matter who gets into office, it's predetermined. Um, you know, whoever's going to get in there, it's like voting. It doesn't matter if you vote because they're going to put in there who they want in there. And I thought, do they really want Trump in there? I mean, you know. But then I thought, well, why not? I mean, put him in there, and he looks like the guy that's for the average American. He wants America to be, bring it back like it was, to produce things and have the jobs, and be strong again. And whatever, somebody got a hold of him and said that's not happening, and but you're not going to get your way about any stuff. And I was wondering, what has he accomplished, you guys? Can you tell me what he's done so far?
He stopped three World War Threes up to now, just for starters. He's turned around the American economy and given impetus to to people to take back a little control if they want to, right across the world. My only big worry with him really is what he's doing in the Middle East with in Palestine. But that's one thing I don't understand about this that Trump his Zionist zeal, as it were. But that's the only thing really. And it's strange that I should say that because originally my family was a load of crusaders, going back a long time, you know. So
Yeah, we don't know the
so it's
situation that exists over there with that. You know, he's got to tread lightly, as you know. You know, I mean,
yeah.
For all we know, any
unfortunately.
Yeah.
you age, how the things you find out when you get in there that that you didn't even know.
But what are the alternatives? Joe Biden? Really?
Hillary.
They can't. Oh yeah, right. Exactly. That's even worse. So, do they got anybody better than Joe Biden?
I'd
Oh,
rather
then
have I'd rather have Bernie. What's his name?
Yeah.
You know, he reminds me of what's his name that he ran for office a long time ago. He just died recently. He's from Texas. He ran for office like in 1996 or something. Um, he's a little Texan guy, and
Did he
he
have
was
the bad hand, Robert Dole?
no. Oh my God, he's kind of a short guy, and he's from Texas. He talked
Paul?
like he's from. No,
Not Ron
he's
Paul?
really really rich, and
Oh
he
yeah,
lives
yeah,
in
yeah,
Texas.
yeah. He ran in.
Um,
What was his name?
And he was so.
Perot. Ross Perot.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Hear that sucking sound? Those are your jobs.
I only know him from The
Yeah.
Simpsons.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so refreshing to listen to him. The way he just made complete sense to me. I'm like, that's the guy. He should be in there, and of course he didn't get in there. Um,
No,
but
Bush sidestepped him quick.
um,
I think like Stpauligirl said earlier, most of these presidents I think have been predetermined since about JFK,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
and
JFK was the last
I-
guy who thought he was the real president.
so I'm just it makes you wonder now.
Sorry.
Did they was it planned to put Trump in the office just because it was the American as a country we obviously they could tell we were getting kind of fed up with the crap that we've been dealing with, like the Bushes. I mean, please.
Yes.
And then Barack Obama with his weird husband-wife guy, and 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 just it just turned everything turned weird. Like I can't explain it. It kind of everything turned weird, and maybe they thought they needed to put him in there because I don't think that he got in there. I don't think that he slipped in and won the election, and they they would have they wouldn't have allowed that to happen. I mean, I think they let him win, and
I think he was asked to go there by what they call the White Hats, which were a group of military guys who wanted to know where your nuclear weapons were. Because of course the president didn't even know who had the nuclear weapons, who had the fingers on the button, and all the rest of it, and they had to gain back control. And he was the only way they could do it because all the other politicians were in the pocket of whoever it is who's doing this shit.
well, okay, so you think that he actually he got in there on his. What I'm just trying to say is I think that they of course they allow other people to run, and it's just it's just for a show, and whether the people that are running believe it or they know that they're just out there just to be a for an actor to just carry on with the facade of an election, but
Yeah, cool.
but I mean I think that with Trump because of the reverse speech it gave me a whole new insight because whether he knew he was going to be become president or not, he had decided what he was going to do with it. Maybe the powers that be went, okay, you're going to be the next president, you're going to be that guy, we're going to put you in there and you're going to like shock everybody and be talk direct to people and don't be just disrespectful of people, whatever you want, and you're going to become president. And say whatever you want, like you're going to do this or you're going to make that happen. You can say whatever you want, and so in his mind, he was saying what he wanted to do, and his reverse speech proves that. He was really intended on making America wonderful again. And then, when he got in there, I think they got a hold of him and went, now, you're president now, but you have to do, we have our plans, and it doesn't, you can't do any of that stuff that you want to do. It's not going to happen. And I think that's when he realized, because his reverse speeches are all just, he's begging, he's like, help me, I need help. It's sad when you hear him. It's just really sad. It's like, oh, that poor.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you explain? Can you explain to me what this reverse speech is? Are they just playing his stuff backwards, or?
Yeah, and
Okay,
you pick
yeah.
up words, and it reveals their unconscious.
You know what? I'll tell you. You know what? This guy discovered it kind of purely by accident. I think his name's David Oates, and it's scientifically proven. I mean, it's a proven thing. It's not like an idea or a theory. And he's made a science of it. And I mean, the FBI, CIA, people use him. Because your subconscious. Okay, as I'm talking to you, and words are coming out of my mouth, and like whatever you say back to me, I could, I'm understanding you in my conscious. Is it your left side of your brain or the right side? One of the side. Anyway, your other side, your subconscious, you're saying things too, and when you record someone talking, then you put it in reverse, and words are very clear. They come out clear as a bell. Your your subconscious is saying things too.
No,
It's
listen.
there's wait a second.
If I disconnect,
Do you have some above in there is weird stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And moving along, how about
Make marble floors and gave us running water and just
it didn't seem like the U.S. military was too happy about it. Now it's space bar. Oh,
now it's working.
I just saw it. Yeah, it's working.
There you go. I don't know why your mouse button wasn't working. That's weird.
Save debug logs to voice module folder. I don't know what that's about.
Sorry, your stop hitting the space bar because it can hear you twice. And you can hear me twice because I'm hitting my goddamn key. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you twice. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you got it set. Try
right now.
Try going back to your mouse bar or your mouse key. See what happens.
Like, I kind of like the space bar better.
Okay, well, stick with the space bar. Go with what you know.
That's right. Yeah. So I got some wild ass shit that I've been lately. I've been thinking, okay, I'm going to think of all the wild shit to talk about, and I'm going to write it down. So these are the topics that I got so far, and some of it's pretty wild. Okay, the Art Shapiro figurines. You know what those are?
Say that again.
The Art Shapiro figurines. You know what they are?
No.
That's these father down in South America opened up this room that had about 20,000 figurines in it of humans and dinosaurs.
Oh, right.
And mainstream poo-pooed it and said,
yeah. I've seen a lot of that shit. There was a lot of gold sheets. There was a lot of copper sheets. There was a lot of fucking rocks with carvings on them, and there was a lot of that's where all of these rocks with Indians riding on the backs of dinosaurs originated.
Yes. Yeah. And Klaus Dana talks about it, and he's pretty convincing. He says, why would that old guy, make it just to put it in a room? You know,
Yeah.
and he said that they
And then
found.
there was a fire in the building that
Yeah,
was housing all of this stuff,
yeah.
and they were able to track. I watched a video where they were able to track down some of these objects that didn't get completely destroyed in another museum somewhere.
Oh yeah. Okay, that was the first one, and then they found also the heel bone of a 30-foot tall, 1.5 ton giant in Peru.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know about
Number.
that huge finger that they found in Egypt, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Number two is the Nazi thing, the Nazi UFO thing,
Well, yeah.
plus Antarctica.
Victor Schauberger, my friend.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna. You know what? While I'm doing this, I'm gonna just hit record because this looks like it might be interesting. Oh, we are recording. Sweet.
Well, you see, Victor Schauberger was grabbed up by the Nazis because
Oh
of
yeah.
his work with water and the energies
Yes.
that are involved with
Spirals.
spiraling water,
Yes.
or water that or mercury that you put into a closed container and you spin it and you
Right.
create a torrid and you create energy from that. You siphon off energy from that apparently somehow, some way.
That's right. Number three, the 1952 UFOs in formation buzzing the Capitol. What's up with that, right?
Well,
What was that all about?
That was probably the U.S. military testing out their new gear.
Yeah, I would think so too. Yeah, but it didn't seem like the U.S. military was too happy about it.
Well, the military didn't know it was the military.
Yeah, I
You
know.
what I'm
I
saying?
know
It
what that.
was the
Yes.
deep state,
Need to know.
the black ops. Like,
Yeah.
if you understand,
Breakaway civilization.
Tesla and P. Townsend Brown were working on anti-gravity among other things,
Yes.
that they had figured it out. And these stories of ET have just been put out there for public consumption to draw the attention away from the true fact that the U.S. military has had anti-gravity technology since the 40s, since the 30s.
Yes.
They've had it. They've been using it for a while now.
Mm-hmm. All right, number four, the skulls of Peru. What is your best guess, Richard?
Skulls of Peru. Which ones?
The all the
ones, or
oblong.
the elongated skulls.
Yeah, there you go. Elongated skulls. I got to write
Well,
that down.
they've done genetic testing on them, and they're a close match to the elongated skulls that were found in the Middle East, in the Black Sea area. In other words, Turkey area, the area of Turkey and Ukraine area, which doesn't surprise me at all, because I know from Tim and Lee Hooker's talks about ancient errata that civilization started up there in the Ukraine and spread out from there with these red-headed giants that were, large in stature, not giants in stature, but they were, like 8 foot, 9 foot tall, and they were the redheads that fell from Mars, I think, or fell from some planet and landed on this planet and taught us civilization. Also, in the process, with breeding with humans, they created a couple of the races: brown-haired, green-eyed peoples, and the blonde-haired, blue-eyed peoples.
Really, that's interesting. I know
Well,
a lot about that.
It's like the evidence is all around us. There's redheads in every culture around the world.
Yes, yes.
And they were, at one point, the peoples that brought us civilization, that taught us how to live in cities and
Mm-hmm.
make marble floors and gave us running water, and just like the Sumerians were the first, over 100 things like law and medicine and stuff like that. That was all brought to us from these beings, and have 400 more cc's brain size than ours.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
proven.
Yeah.
They've filled the inside of the cavities of these skulls, and they're
Oh
400
yeah.
cc's larger than
Yeah.
ours.
10%. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, well, maybe 200 cc's larger, but still, that's a lot of brain. And wow.
Especially if it's higher brain, cerebrum.
Right. Well, it matters, how the brain was structured, and they definitely had a different brain structure than ours, because they had a little hole in the back of their skull to supply blood flow to the scalp,
Mm.
and we don't have that.
Yeah. Why do we have
Also
balding?
sutures. There's sutures. The sutures in the skulls are completely
Completely different.
abnormal
Yeah.
to modern human sutures.
Definitely. Yes.
There's so much difference, and we haven't even gone into Lloyd Pye's Star Child skull. Oh my
Oh
God.
yeah. It's pretty crazy. I know. Yeah.
The differences in that skull are just phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
half the thickness,
And it's
yet
porcelain too.
it's stronger by
Yeah.
leaps and bounds.
It's made out of porcelain.
Well, I don't know if I didn't hear. I didn't.
Yeah.
I never heard him say porcelain, but
That's what I heard. That's what I hear. Yeah. It's harder. It's harder than.
well, yeah. Well, I heard him describe it this way. They took the bone saw.
Or enamel. I mean. I'm sorry.
Well, they took what they said is they took a bone saw, and they went into a normal human skull and took a sample, like no problem. Cut out the square, and took the sample. Then they went to the Star Child skull and took the bone saw, and he heard the guy. He said that he heard, like, it wasn't easy. He was putting a lot of pressure on, trying to get the 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 cutting wheel to cut into the skull to make the cuts.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that the 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 device itself, the whatever they was using to cut the thing, it was you could hear it laboring even to try and get into the material.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot harder than just a normal bone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they put it under microscope, and there was like these black fibers, these little red dots in there. It was weird stuff.
Yeah. Definitely. And moving along. How about this one? Alleged cities on Venus.
No.
That's I knew you'd probably scoff at that. I did the same thing. I swear to you, I saw videos. I didn't watch them, but I saw videos on the side. Said city found on Venus. I'm like, come on, man. There could be no. There's just no possible way.
There
That's
might be some rock shaped, like a conglomeration of rocks that are
yes,
kind
yeah.
of resemble a city or something like
I
that.
mean,
But no.
What the mainstreamers believe is the exact opposite of the truth, and that is they think Venus is older than Earth and already had its span of life and then died. But it's the opposite. It's a baby.
Yeah, she's brand new. That's
agree.
why she's still a comet. She still has her tail.
So we poo-poo cities on Venus. All right.
In fact, her tail touches the Earth's magnetosphere every
Yes,
once in a while.
it tickles the Earth when they're in perihelion.
Yeah.
Number 7, the Voynich manuscript.
Oh my God, I have no clue what the hell that is about. That's somebody's wild fantasy.
Yeah.
Or hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reproduction or copy of an older manuscript that was falling apart, like the Piri Reis map.
Yeah.
that these were the plants that were on the earth during the Purple Dawn.
Yeah. I thought about that. Yeah.
I seriously had some thoughts about that because, uh, I mean, it's so freaking detailed.
Oh, it is. And they
It
can't
would,
even decipher or decode any of the words.
well, yeah, but
That's bad.
it's that
Mouse bar.
just looking at the images itself of all the animals and all the plants that
Yeah.
are described.
Right.
Just wow, interesting stuff. And I don't know if it's somebody's fanciful mind at work,
Mm-hmm.
but wow,
Yeah, it is.
it
It
is
is.
something.
Yes, definitely. I agree with you. All right. What are you looking for?
The cards.
Oh, the cards? Well, they got to be in my coat. They got to be in my coat. Okay, the next one. Oh, here they are. Just looking for my card. Okay. Next on the list, Atlantis slash Hyperborea.
Well,
Yay or nay?
yeah,
Yeah, I think so too.
it was a real thing, but Atlantis wasn't this little island that was just in the North Atlantic.
No, I don't think so either.
It was a worldwide culture.
Yes.
It was humans all around the world that knew each other, knew of each other,
Yeah.
communicated with each other,
Yep.
and possibly not through um, like the phone lines or anything like that, possibly through the old way of communication, the mind,
Mm-hmm.
connection to the mind. That's why we get um, a lot of these fanciful stories of Atlantis with these beings in the central part of the city that were all powerful and had, didn't have to talk. They could communicate with their minds, and then,
Telepathy.
yeah, and then, the outside ring, they could still do telepathy, but they were restricted, less powerful, and then another circle of people on another ring on the outside of that were just normal people like us, and
They're the
wow,
plebes.
well, it's just, no, I don't think any of that was
Right.
real. I think it was just a worldwide culture like we're starting to develop now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about Hyperborea? Is that
Well,
more of a? Is
well,
that?
Hyperborea is, I think, separate from Atlantis. I think it was long before Atlantis
Yeah,
that
I
this
think.
happened.
Yeah, I think that was like when we were in our God stage. Or
Well,
was
I
it
think that
over?
was in definitely prehistory stage.
Yeah. Yes.
Atlantis is just on the edge of history,
Yes.
but Hyperborea, that's prehistory.
Yeah.
We're talking like 60,000 years ago, probably.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I thought too. Yeah, we're in junction there. Okay, number 10, the airships of the 1890s.
What, like the Zeppelins and shit like
Yeah,
that?
did you know that in the one airship crashed into a well or something like that, a windmill in Texas, and they buried the occupant and put an ad in the paper.
Yeah.
They thought it was an alien from another planet, but it's probably just a human. Because there's some I was listening. I think Ramon was telling me about. I don't know if it was Ramon or
Say that
no,
again?
somebody was telling me about. They had this airship club. The people they were from Bavaria, but they went up to like Sacramento, California, or somewhere like that, and they were flying airships.
Right. In the
Yeah,
1800s?
in the 1890s. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be so unheard of. They were
It's like the
starting
beginning
the
of the breakaway.
balloons. That was balloons were the first flying devices.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in the 1700s in France, I think was the
Hmm.
first flight
Yeah.
in a lighter than air ship, as they
Mm.
used to say it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to think of it. It sure is intriguing. I wish I could find out more about it.
Or is it heavier than air? Sorry, it's
It
heavier
just says airships. The airships, the 1890s. I'm thinking something like this Goodyear blimp.
balloons.
Yeah, the blimps.
Balloons.
Yeah.
Well, no, not. I don't think they're. I don't think they were. I think they're more balloons, like like
Maybe.
balloon
Wouldn't it say
enthusiasts today,
balloons
right?
though?
Well, let me Google that.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? What is it called again?
Yeah, Google it. We should all share our screens. It's the airships of the 1890s, or airships of the late 19th century. You can write that. I should share. You should, if you get something, share your screen so we can all see it. Otherwise, I have to supply a picture for it. The more pictures that one of us supply now, the less I have to do later when it gets to video stage. People don't like to watch a picture.
Yeah, they're kind of like zeppelins. They're small. They're
I can look it up too.
they're basically like gas balloons.
What did you look up there?
Hang on a second. I'll share it.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna share it? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Where's the more options?
So yeah, this is the.
These airships just look like rudimentary balloons with structures hung below them.
Like a propeller.
Well, yeah, there's even picture of a guy sitting in one here.
I see that. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, with a prop on the front of it.
Gas balloon airship blimp.
Yeah, so I mean, these guys are just rich Bolivians that saw the French doing it 100 years earlier that decided to make their own airships.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all.
That's pretty cool.
But if you look, Wiki Wand at the bottom here. Oh, well, I'm doing it. Oh, look at these airships.
No, I see those are getting
like
into
the first one up the top left. That's the one like in the 1700s from France. I remember that one.
Yeah.
It looks like like our balloons, right?
Yes.
But you can see they made cigar shaped ones, disc shaped ones. And go
the mouse key, or the space.
done that they just followed very readily, very quickly. They, give them a chance. And
Are we still in Discord?
yeah, I think so.
Good.
Yeah,
Clicks the link. Okay, and
I'm gonna close my Discord out anyway.
When we finish this, you can go. But leave it
Well,
up
no,
for now.
we're only talking in Skype here.
Well, as long as we're in chat, like if somebody comes into the room and says, "Hey, what's up?" from the link that I gave,
Oh,
Would
right.
would you be able to hear him?
Well, they'd have to know Skype for one, and then they'd have to see you sitting in the general chat and come into the general chat.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody new. Oh, sorry. Shining Bearable just joined.
Oh, so we have someone in here with us?
No, not in the voice chat, but on the server. They joined on the Electric View server just
Oh, the Electric View
just
server.
at 11:52.
Well, it's not for us. Whoever.
It
What
might have been
happens
it
if I
might have
hit
been
the link?
somebody it might have been somebody that you put the link on that they just followed your link now.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know that you recognize that name?
I'm trying to see how do you get out of this one page here? How do you do it
Okay,
again?
so you clicked on general chat, right?
Apparently,
To
all
get
I see is right now is your name in the middle, and then do I just go over to the view? Do I just hit the views page? There we go.
no, you need to view what?
Yeah, Electric View. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Click on the electric view and then click on the
yeah.
general tab, the general room up at the top.
General room at the top. Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
says
right. Yeah.
general and then alternate general, and then EU related book. Click on the general one, and you'll
When I
see.
do, nothing happens.
Well, that's because
I'm
you're in there
already in it.
then already.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's what I thought.
So
Okay.
down at the bottom, you should see Shining Bearable has joined the battle
No,
bus.
it doesn't look familiar. I don't see the name either. Where are
Well,
you seeing that at?
scroll down to the bottom.
Scroll on the bottom. Okay, scroll to the bottom, very bottom. Okay. Ah, okay.
Ah, now
Shining Bearable has joined the battle bus. What the hell is a battle bus?
well, that's just Discord's way of saying that somebody came into the server. That's all.
Oh, okay.
It's just a funny way of saying it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
So
Sure.
yeah, does that name look familiar to you from
Scott
your?
Scott Karasma. Well, no, not really. No, I don't know that person.
Okay.
So
Well,
it's okay though. They
they
come in,
might
they
have
see us.
followed.
That's all right.
Well, you just posted the link on one of your things, right? So maybe
Yes.
somebody saw it and decided to come.
Well, if they click on it, where does it bring them to? The lobby?
Right here.
Okay,
Right here
there
at
you
the
go. That's
general tab.
right. Because I'm not pushing the mouse key, or the space bar.
So if they show up on the server like she just did right now, or this person Shining Bearable just did,
Yeah.
they would have to go look on the left hand side where it says general, alternate general, EU related books, and so on and so forth,
Yeah. Yeah.
to see us in the general chat,
Yeah.
voice chat room, and
Yeah.
they would have to click on that general chat banner,
Good.
and then they would come in here and be able to start talking.
Works for me. Okay, the next one on the list. Let's get to that list.
Oh, okay.
All right. There's too much precious time talking about that stuff. Number 12. Medieval and ancient coins that depict UFOs, especially the 1710 pic of Jesus and a UFO.
Well,
What do you think of that? Have
the
you ever seen them?
energies,
They're
the
huge.
energies that are applied to these flying craft that we were talking about earlier
Mm-hmm.
would make them glow, would make them would create a plasma sheath around them. We know that plasma naturally creates a sheath.
Google the coins. Give us a visual.
What's it called again?
Uh, Medieval coins with UFOs on them. Coins depicting or with, doesn't matter, UFOs. See what it says. Go to images. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see? They're freaking, look at them. They're freaking big and bad. And they got alien faces and shit. And there's one, if you want to search it, 1710 coin depicting Jesus being lifted, or Jesus in a UFO. It shows him shining a light down on him, and it was a real coin.
Hmm.
Yeah, isn't that something? Now I don't know. Some of those might be fakes. Like it's too good. Like that bottom saucer there, But
Five
some of these,
cents.
yeah, but some of these are. I mean, look, that looks authentic. I don't know if it should be. Or the
Well,
giant.
16. This one's 1648.
Yeah. What about this? The one on the top right, the gold coin right there. Yeah. What about that big saucer there? That's pretty wicked looking.
1680s.
Yeah. That's intriguing. It all comes out of one period. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be
Well,
all over Europe, and they have all them paintings too.
I don't know. It could have been a discharge that looked
You,
like this. I
you
don't
got
know.
raccoons in here? What's that?
Oh, that's Kaplocks. That's Kaplocks.
Uh,
How you doing?
hey, what's up? What's up? Who's this?
He can't hear you, Greg, because you're not broadcasting in Discord, only Skype.
Hello? Yes.
There you go.
Hey, what's going on? Who is this? All right, man. Did you get the message on YouTube? Yeah, we're going through some stuff right now. We're actually talking about these ancient, or not ancient, medieval coins with UFOs on them. You ever seen them? They're a trip. Okay. All right. We're going to move on down the list to the next one, though. We're going to go. Yeah, can you see the screen? No, you're not on Skype. You can't see it. Yeah.
No, he can't see the screen.
And I have to remember to hit the space bar.
Yeah, if you want Kaplocks to be in the conversation, yeah, you have to hit space bar. Otherwise, it's gonna be in Skype.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I know exactly the one you're talking about.
We're actually looking at it right now.
You
It's a
are?
French coin.
You
It's
are? Where's
actually
it
a
at?
French coin from the 1680s.
Wicked. Yeah.
What's that? Oh, right.
Yeah, I keep hearing something like crashing into the. What is
Well,
that?
he's rubbing up against his microphone, Greg.
Oh. Yeah.
He hears you shuffling around a lot there, Caps Lock. He's
And
wondering what the noise was.
yeah, I gotta remember. It's okay.
And he's got to remember to hit the space bar too.
Yes, I have to remember to hit the space bar. Okay, next on the list. Oh, did you look up the 1710 picture of Jesus and a UFO? Google that, Richard. See if anything comes up.
Call me Rick, bro. Not Richard. That's like my mom called me Richard when she was mad at me.
Oh, what do you want me to call you, Rick? Okay. All right, that's cool. I think it sounds cool, like Richard the Lionhearted Man. You know, be proud of that name. It's better than a guy at school I used to know, Richard Head. Just kidding. All right. Yeah,
You just
17
claimed
10.
with UFO.
Yeah, I have the picture, but I don't know how I found it, but I'm always getting pictures, man. There, right there. Right,
Where?
right, like the
This
first
picture?
four. Yes, that picture.
Oh,
What
oh,
is
okay.
that? All right, was that painted in 1710? And the coin there too.
Well, the
That's pretty obvious.
I, I still don't think ETs are real.
Okay, I can buy that. She wanted a coffee. Something you saw in the
Right.
sky.
You said it's shaped similarly and looks similar to the what's on the coin.
Thanks, Greg. Oh, you're all right. I knew you haven't eaten. Yeah, I haven't. Oh, if we can move on and come back to it. Let's go to the next one.
Well, it's 1 o'clock here, Greg, so it's getting late. So
All right,
if
you wanna
you
go,
got
Bob? Yeah.
well, you got many more of these questions?
I've got yeah, I got 5 or 6 more, so we can take them another
Oh,
time. We can
okay.
take them. All right. The next one was the mud flood and DNA helix nebula look the same. Brain cells in the universe, the Lycurgus cup, the eye of the Sahara, runes on Mars. So we got to, more talking. We can do it another time.
Right, right. Well, I don't think the mud floods is real.
I want
There
to
may
know what it's about.
well there may have been some you know localized flooding of you know material, but in the 1700s and the 1800s a huge mud flood. What? No.
I know, right? Man, I could get stoned and listen to you and have all kinds of fun. You're echoing all over the place and shit.
Well, that's because we're in Skype too, and we're talking in Discord because of Kaplocks here now.
That's right.
When he wasn't here, we weren't talking. We were talking in Skype.
He
And
was
it was,
kind enough to join us for a little bit at the end. So, you want to talk about one more, or do you want to go by night night?
well, give me one more question.
Okay. I'll give you your pick. Here's what's left. All of the architecture is from one ancient race, like all the cathedrals and whatnot. The mud flood, the DNA and Helix Nebula look just about the same, Birkeland current. Brain cells in the universe look just about the same. The Lycurgus Cup, the Eye of the Sahara, ruins on Mars, and the dinosaur hoax theory. That's what's
Well,
left.
well, the Eye of the Sahara is a discharge site. It was an arc discharge that created that depression and probably was probably is what created the Sahara Desert, all that sand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, also, what was the other one was the Birkeland
Lycurgus
currents,
Cup.
and the brain cells looking like the universe. Um, we're just we're just
You hear that car?
yeah, that came from Kaplocks. Um,
That's
we're
crazy.
just we're just microcosms of the macrocosm, bro. DNA is just an expression of an electrical Birkeland current, and the connections between our brain cells is just an expression of the massive Birkeland currents that flow between galaxies. That's it.
That's right, folks. Smoke a joint and come and listen to Rick. I'm getting two of you, bro.
Well, I'm
That's
I'm
okay. We
partaking
got
right now. It's 4:20 right now,
we got
so
we got to be good. Okay, what do you think of the Lycurgus cup? You know what I'm talking about? Google it.
I remember hearing that name. I'm pretty sure if I Google it, I'll see the image. I'll know what it is.
Yeah, do that.
It's spelled Ly.
Lycurgis. This thing's apparently got.
Oh yeah.
There it is. There it is. It's got some kind of like quantum shit going on there.
Yep. It's made of a very, very special glass. Technology that we can do today, but is very expensive to do. And someone had a lot of time and a lot of knowledge back in those days to do this.
Oh. I would love to have that thing.
Wow, that you millionaire, billionaire almost. Wow.
No, yeah.
Yep.
Excellent, man. That was excellent.
Yeah, Bright Insight. I think I remember seeing that video too about this cup. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do a spot on it.
Well, yeah, why not?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There it is. There it is. Right there. I love that thing. Okay. Oh my goodness.
What you mean? What do you mean around the world? Oh my God.
Well,
It'll be tons, yeah. All the pyramids and all the wow.
Kaplock.
Yeah,
Absolutely. You know, before you came in, I was telling Rick that Klaus Donna found he was given the heel bone to a 30-foot tall giant that weighed 1.5 tons. That's probably how it was so easy for them to move them giant stones around, coupled with the fact that the gravity was weaker.
yeah, I agree.
Yes, yes. It looks like some gigantic machine dug it out.
See, some of
No
those tracks are super deep. I mean, you would have to have wheels that were like 6, 7, 8 feet tall in order for you not to drag the axle.
What about?
So I have to think that there's something else. They were created by something else.
Have you
Not
seen
wheels.
those spots in the oceans where it looks like some gigantic machine dug it out?
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And then there's a spot by South America that looks like all these freaking long planks are piled on top of each other. The hell is that?
Long planks. You mean stone?
No, it looks like roads, but they can't be because they're like a country wide. But they're long and they look like gigantic. It looks like a turnpike system that's been buried.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, I can show it to you, man. I'll have to, I put it in one of my videos. I was using Google Earth. That's where you got it. I can find it. It's right by Central America on the California side. Oh yeah, oh yeah. It blew my mind. Yeah, go to Google Earth and then get on it, and then go down by South America or Central America
East Coast, West Coast?
on the California side, West Coast. I took a picture of it. It's wild, man. It's just like, what the fuck was that? And it's all up and down the northern seaboard of the United States, too. Yep. All right, now go down. Scroll down. All right, now go south. Go south. Okay, there. Now look at them giant scrape marks. That's one thing. But yeah, there it is. You got it right on it right now. Look at that. What the hell is that?
Well, as you can see, some of the seafloor is more defined than other parts of the seafloor. That's just imaging stitched together to produce that, I'm sure.
Okay, so it's a natural process. They're all up and down the north coast too, or the eastern coast of the United States too.
Yeah. Well, if you scroll in, you can see how this section is defined, and right beside it, it's blurry, right?
Yeah, yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Well, that's just definition. They have definition for that section of the seafloor. They don't for that section beside it. And they have definition over here, but they don't have it for here or over here. Or look at the definition that they got for this boulder here.
Yeah, that's got to be a pretty gigantic boulder.
Yeah. But you see, I mean, it's how the mapping is given its information and how it displays it. Like,
check out the eyebrows and mouth. See that?
The eyebrows and what?
Right here.
Oh, right here. Oh, you mean right here? Oh my God. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird how shapes in nature, or how natural or even unnatural formations like what we're seeing here produce things that are familiar to us.
So you don't think it's an alien base?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Like these people going, look at the lines here. No, it's this area has been defined. It's been able to been defined. This area is not defined by sonar imaging or whatever sonar information, right?
No, the land is taking a beating.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of. Yeah, that's
you
kind
see,
of
like right here, there's a defined edge. Yes. You won't see that. You won't see that on the seafloor. If you went down there right now, you wouldn't see that. You wouldn't see soft, silty sand and then a rocky outcrop like that? No. Not that well defined like that. There's no way.
Right, right.
So, I mean, a lot of these Google images or a lot of these things that people put up on Google and take off of Google, you got to take them with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Like, look how well defined everything is around the coast. Like around here, it's really well defined. What the heck? What the? What? See?
Mm.
See how well defined that is? Someone
Mhm.
thought that interesting to take pictures of it, to take sonar information of it and upload it
Yeah, that's a
somewhere
little like
where they grab it.
looks like birdshot.
Yeah, it looks like somebody been shooting the hell out of the road sign.
Definitely. Yeah, that I could just watch. I could look at Google Earth for hours, man. Just looking at little shit.
Oh,
Like,
like little dots here over here. This is weird stuff.
hmm
But is it real? Is it exactly? I think it is because they've taken the time to be able to image all of this stuff on the
right.
coast, close to the coast.
Yeah.
Out here in the ocean, not so much, you know.
No. Yeah, not so much. That's true.
But that's weird how these lines cross each other.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it's when you look at this rock, it almost looks like faces, like angry faces and shit. You see that? Right here and there. Look at here. Oh, you have?
Oh yeah.
I've never done that. I should do that sometime.
Yeah, and a lot of these lines are again artifacts of definition. Um, how well they've imaged the seafloor there. In other parts, they haven't imaged it that well. That's all I think that is.
Yeah, this just the features are really tortured in some places.
Well, look at this area here,
Yeah,
right? Like that
exactly.
was
Yeah.
that was etched out, man. Like the same as these mountains and these river valleys. They were
Right.
etched out with the same process when there was less water on the earth a long time ago.
Yeah, well, Tiwanaku, that town was built and then it was hurled up into the 15,000 foot range. I mean, they didn't build it at 15,000 feet. So
No,
something moved that mountain range awful quick.
well, yeah, that they know that it was about 3,500 feet above sea level in the ancient past. Now it's
Right.
16,000 feet. Whoa. What
Corn can't
happened?
grow. Yeah.
What happened? I don't
According
know.
to according to Ramon, the moon made a very close pass over the Earth and lifted the mountain ranges,
Yeah.
which is very possible.
Oh yeah, I agree. I definitely agree that these it's not gravity that did that. It's these thunderbolts, these interactions between bodies moving land masses around like it's butter.
Yep.
It's like it's butter in a frying pan.
Tired, man. I'm gonna hit the bed. I'm just gonna let it run. I can go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Tired. Ah.
Well,
You know,
not only that, Greg and I were talking about this earlier too, that interactions between planets themselves can exchange charge, as we obviously know in the electric universe, that this exchange of charge changes their electrical potential, bleeding off some of their potentials to, from a more positive to or a more negative, or a more negative to a more positive state. And that would exactly, that would change their orbit. That would set them into a new uh, into the new field lines of the magnetic field of the sun, and that would they would go to where their match, their frequency match would be in the magnetic field lines. As you know, you sprinkle iron filings on a magnet, you can see these lines of force. Well, these lines of force would, have different potential as the same as the planets, and your planet would slot into that field of potential that it matches. That's what I think, anyway. And visualize the magnetic fields.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. No, I wondered that too. Yeah.
Well, it's possible that that's the case.
Our sun, our solar flux, I mean, it's gotten down to as low as 58. I mean, what's the sun doing? When there's a low solar flux, there's no ionosphere for ham radio operators. They're mad as hell about it. You know. Oh yeah, here's another thing. If we're orbiting in the Milky Way galaxy, you know, there's a part where we're going to start getting closer to the core because the galaxy, if you look at it, it circulates. But I mean, how could we be in orbit and not get closer to the core? We've got to. Well, galaxies rotate in one direction, and the other half rotate in the other. Push button. It could be somebody I do know. I always just assume that I don't know them, but I might, you know. But I really just started doing this stuff. I was just making movies and releasing them, and commenting and answering comments. But, that gets to be tedious. So I figured if I do this, I can maybe get to know some people. That's why it's cool. Definitely. I'm just going to start streaming some night soon and just say, I just got on to shoot the breeze with you guys. Now that I know about Discord, this is the thing. I know it. Yeah. Thanks for the conversation.